Hi, everyone. Good morning. I actually had my times wrong. I thought court was going to start in half an hour, and I thought I had another half an hour to get ready, but I think court starts right now, 8:30 a.m. local time. So I didn't have time to get ready, which is okay. I don't mind. I brushed my teeth, I got to wash my face and all that. Hi, Go Lucky. Good morning. It's early. How is everyone? So yesterday was jury selection for the Alec Baldwin trial. Today is day one. Now we're going to be starting with opening statements. And remember, the judge was really pissed off 2 days ago in pretrial hearing because she thought that defense wanted a continuance because there was a whole mess of a shit show with discovery stuff. I think defense was saying that, state produced like 1,100 pages of discovery. We were entitled to it before. We just got it. And we need more that's coming in. Hi, Joe Swanson. How are you doing today? How's it going? Speaking of Joe Swanson, I just recently watched an episode of Parks and Rec. Love Joe Swanson. Hi, Debbie. Good morning. It's early. Oh, God, my hair is so crazy. Should I put my hair up? I gotta just roll out of bed. Actually, my hair. Let's see, what should we do with my hair? Let me think. Let's brainstorm before opening statements start. Oh, let me have my notes up, actually, before I fiddle around with my hair. Oh man, I'm actually kind of hungry now. Yesterday I was working on Alexi Treviso stuff. Oh my goodness. That trial may be delayed. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The state is not happy with some of the court's rulings, and they decided to take it to the Supreme Court. Oh, you got a broken toe. Oof. How did that happen? That sounds painful. I've never had a broken anything. I remember when I was younger, though, I wanted to have a broken bone because I used to thought it looked so cool to walk around with a cast. Wrong. Apparently, it's like really, really itchy to have a cast. But I want all the attention, Oh, you're doing Elden Ring? How's Elden Ring? Where are you at right now? I wanted to play Elden Ring when I was sick, but I didn't want to be sick and stressed out because of Elden Ring. Hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're doing well. I'm kind of hungry though. Usually, like when I wake up, I eat I eat like right away. Hey, Jane. How's it going? All right. I mean, they said court was going to begin at 8:30. I guess everyone's just loading in. But I'm surprised they were able to get the jury selected in one day. I mean, honestly, this case is a lot shorter. It's not 8 weeks, 9 weeks. So probably a lot better on the scheduling for the jury. So when you tell the jury, like, oh, it's only going to be like 8, 9 days, it's like, okay, it's not that bad. I can sacrifice my time and really make it here. Hi, how are you doing today? Senja, is that how you pronounce your name? Hello, first time catching you live. Thanks to your early morning time difference. Wait, what time is it for everyone right now? You're in the subterranean shunning grounds? Well, I don't know where that is. I think you're ahead of me then. I got stuck in the snow area. I went up to the snow area and I couldn't figure out how to get to the other side. Yeah, I need to get to the other side to do my quest for the Lava Mountain Manor House, whatever it's called. Hi, Brooklyn. Good morning from New York. Hi. My brother's moving to possibly New York, New Jersey. Okay. All right. Oh, and the lighting in here is it's really bad. I'm so sorry. Let me turn on this light actually. That way we can balance it out a little. Oh gosh, I think that made it worse. Okay, let me just turn off this light while we wait for the court to come in. But it's supposed to be happening right now. Oh, you're in Finland. It's 5:37 p.m. in Finland. How's the weather in Finland right now? I've never been to Europe. Think about possibly going maybe this year. We were supposed to do a Japan trip, but my brother could not find he couldn't find really good deals on flights. So I think we're gonna do Europe instead. And I've never been to Europe before. Okay, I think this is so much better. All right. Yeah, I did the fire giant and left the area. Oh, it ported you to? Okay, because I'm still I'm like in the ice area, but I need to do the Firehouse Manor quest. And I don't know how to get up there. I'm stuck. I don't know how to pronounce it in writing, how to pronounce her name to English speakers. Okay, I'm trying my best. Hi, Desert Biker. How are you doing today? You're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hello, hello. How's it going? Kefalaya, how are you doing today? Omegas, hi, good morning. All right, court should be coming in. I saw Alec Baldwin coming in. Alec Baldwin. I wonder if he's going to have his entire family members there. I think during jury selection, his wife, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Hilaria? I don't know how to pronounce her name. I don't know how you pronounce it. Hilaria? It sounds like hilarious. His wife was appeared yesterday, I think with her baby too, which bringing a baby to court, kind of interesting. Today it's warm and sunny. Somewhere it's like 25 degrees Celsius. I have to confirm. Wait, is my title updated on Twitch? I don't know if it is or not. 25C sounds hot, no? Oh, no, never mind. 25C is nice. Oh, I'm thinking of 35C. Have they done jury selection? Yes. Hi, Local. How are you doing today, Sean? They did jury selection yesterday. Alec Baldwin came in. His wife was there. His brother was there. What's his brother's name again? Is it Steve Baldwin? And yeah, I guess like their kids were there, or some of their kids were there. But people were wondering if it was a publicity stunt to bring your baby to the courtroom or something. But the jury selection was not live streamed. Hi, Debbie. How's it going? Japan was an awesome experience. Yes, we took an amazing, an excursion to Singapore, which was amazing. Oh, I want to go to Singapore so bad. I've never been to Singapore before. I hear the food is amazing. I actually just watched Crazy Rich Asians recently. I don't know why. I was in the mood for it. I didn't like the movie when it came out the first time, but I watched it again. I was like, oh, it wasn't too bad. I think I was more wrapped up in the themes of the movie with like overbearing, crazy Chinese mom and all that stuff. And I was like, it was just annoying the fuck out of me. So, hi, Funky Pants. How are you doing today? I'm doing good. I thought I had another hour and a half before court starts. Actually, maybe I do. So I woke up this morning and I was like, okay, well, court's going to start at 9. I'm good. I have an hour to get ready. And then I looked up in the long crime chat and some people were like, oh, court starts at 8:30. And I'm like, oh, fudge. That means I have half an hour less in getting ready. But maybe I should have just went with what I thought court started. I could have sworn court starts at 9. But maybe it's 8:30 and they're just late. Oh, I did hear though. So a lot of us are wondering, is Hannah Reid, is she going to be testifying? Oh, man, it's right now. I hear some sounds. Is Hannah Reid going to testify? Apparently, they did transfer her. They put in a transfer to have her transferred over to the local prison near the courtroom. So maybe she'll testify. Maybe she won't testify. I know the state wanted her to testify, and it seems like she does not want to. She's like, I don't want to be a part of this. I think the state was going to try to get her to testify and provide her with immunity or something. Biker says, I personally think Alex should at least get what Hannah got. He did so many things wrong. I think Hannah was a large bulk of it. Yeah, I think she was a large bulk of it. Alec Baldwin. We got to see some of Alec Baldwin's actions during the Hannah Reid trial. Like clippets of him running around, like pointing the gun, the shoots that he was doing. So we got to see clippets of it. I want to see more. Hey, thank you so much. Long Beach Drip Drip. Thank you so much for the follow. There's people coming out of the courtroom. The weather looks nice over there. Clear, blue skies. We've been getting a, not a heat stroke. What do you call it again? We've been getting a heat wave. Yeah, a heat wave. Hi, Dory. Hello. Good morning, Maverick. Hello, hello. We've had a heat wave here, and I guess you shouldn't be planting flowers when it's really hot outside because they haven't had time to establish their roots, and the roots are too shallow. So I planted a bunch of flowers for my dog, and a lot of them are fried and crispy. You was a heat wave once. It was nice. Hi Omni, how's it going? 124. Do you live in the desert, Dory? Oh gosh. My friend wants to go to well, my friends, they want to go to Vegas. Ugh, it's gonna be so hot in Vegas. I don't even want to look at the temperature. Let's see. Vegas weather. 95. Oh, it's 95 right now because it's still early at 7 a.m. But 118, 115, 113. Oh my god. It's because his birthday's in July. It's gonna be so hot. You wonder if Hannah's mom is still sobbing uncontrollably over the pathetic short sentence for precious little dominatrix princess. God. Hannah's mom was the one that said so. She like shouted something, right? During verdict, and then they didn't let her come back during sentencing. Yeah, I mean, 18 months. 18 months is like nothing. Okay, and I don't know if she'll get out on like early, like maybe like good behavior or something. Hi, Guyver Macton. How are you doing today? Please testify, Alex. Yeah, I love it when, the defendants go up there and testify. I think heat stroke is accurate. Hello, hi, Kat. How's it going? Oh, you're in Palm Desert. Ooh, I want to go visit Palm Desert. Your weather is rubbish, but Jamaica? Ooh, in 3 months? Wait, you're gonna go to Jamaica? Dude, I wanted to go to Jamaica. I remember I watched this episode of Anthony Bourdain when he was in Jamaica and he was just chilling on the beach and locals were just coming up to him, like offering him like seafood. Like, oh God, he looks so freaking good. Today's the coolest day in Vegas. Oh, I think they want to go like in a week or two. Oh God, it's gonna be so hot. I don't know. Yeah, the mom got banned from the court. I still want to know if they're gonna release Hannah's jailhouse calls. We got the transcripts and they were bad. They were pretty bad. I want to listen to the jailhouse calls though. It's like 95 here in Pittsburgh. It's so humid. I will say, I went to Venice Beach this past weekend, and it's right by the beach, obviously, because it's called Venice Beach. But it was pretty humid over there. Sorry if you answer this, it's off topic, but I love the print on your top where it's from. So this is actually a pajama top. I really like pajama tops because I like button up shirts. So for me, it's like when I do my hair, I hate putting my hair on top of my head and messing up my hair and everything like that. Sorry, that's like super specific. But this is just a pajama top. It's from Anthropology. It's near Coachella. Yes. We went to I went to Palm Springs about maybe like 3 months ago, and I didn't know they were known for their date shakes. And it was pretty good because I'm lactose intolerant, and they had lactose-free date shake, and that was, it was so good. Will Hannah testify? So the state wants her to testify. There's been kind of a battle between Hannah, her attorney, and the state because I don't think she wants to testify. But I did hear that they put in an order to have her transferred to a prison that's close to this trial. So maybe she will testify. Maybe she won't. I want her to testify. I want to hear from her. She didn't testify on her own. Oh, hello. All right, guys, you ready? I got my notes up. Hello, Judge. Good morning. How you doing today, Judge? All right, day one, opening statements. Hello, Mr. Baldwin. I can't imagine him getting any sleep or anything. Oh, I think that's his brother, right? Yeah, they both have the pursed lip effect. They look so similar. I think that's his brother right there. And I don't know what Hilaria looks like. Doesn't Hilaria kind of look like Melania Trump, or am I just completely wrong on that? Hi, CD. How are you doing today? Hi, Raid. Remember, this judge, Hannah sentence said that Hannah Gutierrez alone is responsible for the death of Helena. I don't think the judge is okay with Alec being charged. Oh, I didn't even think about it like that, Debbie. I didn't even think about it like that. Because I wonder if the defense could cite that. Like, hey, the state thinks that Hannah was solely at fault, and judge, maybe you too. Oh, what's going on? Why are we looking at the back of this dusty TV screen? 18 months to take away someone's mom, wife, daughter, sister, friend. Yeah, 18 months is nothing. 24-hour drink and food. Oh, plenty of rum. Oh man, I want to go to a beach vacation. My sister's birthday's coming up. I wish we could do something for her birthday. LA getting a taste of Phoenix. Oh no, thank you. I don't like this hot weather. I hate it. I just want to be 70s, you know, maybe at most 80s, but 90s is like it's just too, the sun is just too harsh. I need to get a good sun umbrella, like a good compact sun umbrella. We could see Alec in the beginning of the live. Well, he does not look too well. Tired, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't imagine him getting good sleep or anything like that. This is probably taking a toll on him. Probably super stressful. I've been to the Bahamas on a cruise several years ago. It was like an upper 95 to 110 when we got there. Ah. But the Bahamas is nice because you get like a nice breeze, right? I went to the Bahamas during the hot season too. Or was it the Bahamas? Yeah, they were in the Bahamas, I think. Is Bahamas close to Florida? We sailed from Florida and went to like the islands. I don't remember where we went though. Good morning, Nicole. How are you doing today? We need Justin Bieber to provide the background score. Is it too late to say sorry? Someone said that earlier, like, oh, it'd be funny. Bieber and what's it called? His wife. What's his wife? Oh, Haley. It'd be funny if they were both there. Is that Hillary? Is that his wife right there? He's got some nice cheekbones. Alec be looking a little rough. Yeah, he must be so tired. You know, his brother kind of looks like security detail. He's got like a little thing in his ear. I wonder what is he listening to? Christopher Gregor. I don't know who Christopher Gregor is. Wait, so I think I was right. I think court does start at 9. Darn it. I should have ignored the law and crime chat. I would have had more time to get ready. Oh, Christopher Gregor. Oh, I do see that. I do see that. The treadmill guy. Yeah, F that guy. Dude, the surveillance footage of him and his son when the son was running on the treadmill was so hard to watch. Yeah, fuck that guy. How many years does that guy get? I know he was found guilty, but how many years does he get? Oh, he didn't get his sentencing yet. Sentencing is August 2nd. Yeah. I do see some like physical facial resemblance. She had her baby with him during pretrial motions. Wow, how old is Alec Baldwin? Alec Baldwin age. He's 66 years old. Jesus. His wife is 40. Wait, what? Meryl Streep is 75 years old? What? 75? Hold on a second. I had noticed she was 75 years old. How do we make sure she never dies? I want Meryl Streep to live forever. I love Meryl Streep. Hi, Aleko. Good morning. How are you doing today? Hello, hello. He doesn't look too good, honestly. By the way, what do you think happened? I think he pulled the trigger. He said he didn't, but I think he pulled the trigger. The gun was cocked, and yeah, the bullet came out and shot through Joel Souza, and then, shot through Helena, and then ended up in Joel Souza. I think he pulled the trigger. Oh gosh, taxi. Latest 2 kids are via surrogate. His wife looks like Victoria Beckham. No, I don't really see Victoria Beckham. I thought she looked like Melania Trump for a second there, but no. Now that I'm looking at her, she looks nothing like Melania Trump. He 100% pulled that trigger. Yeah, he said he didn't. I don't know. I think he was just too busy trying to save his butt and not take responsibility by saying that, like, oh, you know, it's not my fault. I didn't pull the trigger, you know. That right there is Justin Bieber's father-in-law. No, wait, that's Haley Baldwin's dad? I thought that was a different brother. Haley Baldwin dad. Oh, you're right. Stephen Baldwin is... Oh, I thought... how many Baldwin brothers are there? Alec Baldwin brothers. Yeah, there's 4 of them. There's Alec, there's a Daniel and a William. Who's Daniel and William? Are they all actors? Is his brother Billy there? He was supporting for Danny Masterson's trial, supporting Danny Masterson, but not his brother. Danny Masterson is part of the, what's that big church called again? The not LDS, the other big church. Scientology, right? Maybe Alec Baldwin isn't in Scientology. I mean, honestly, the Baldwin brothers look so similar to each other. Here are the brothers here. They look so similar. I feel like I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between these three right here. Like Alec Baldwin, I know his face for sure, but these three, I'm like, I don't know. They look kind of similar to me. So I don't know who I've seen in what movie. Well, this guy definitely has like the meow. He's got like the little meow purse lips. If I remember correctly, I heard it or read it somewhere. If he is guilty, he can get 5 years. No, I don't think so. What was he facing again? 18 months, yeah. Just like Hannah Reid, 18 months. The eyebrows, maybe. The one play. Wait, Barney Rubble? Wait, who played Barney Rubble? Barney. Wait, one of them played Barney in the Flintstones? Who came up with just 18 months? Yeah, I guess manslaughter in New Mexico, 18 months. Seems pretty seems kind of light. Well, at least that's what I was thinking for because Baldwin, I'm like still not sure about him yet, but Hannah Reid definitely. I was like 18 months. Jesus. What made you mad was that Alec took zero accountability, tried to blame everyone but himself. Steven? Oh, really? He played Barney? Barney Rubble Baldwin. Wait, what? That's him? I guess I do see it. Oh gosh, I love this movie. This movie was we had the VHS. I used to watch it all the time. Oh, interesting. I had no idea. It's so cool to see who played who, like how many X amount of years ago, because you're like, that's them. Yeah, 18 months. Adam Baldwin is in Firefly. He's a distant relative of the Baldwin. Jesus, how many Baldwins are there? Adam Baldwin. American actor. He looks familiar. Oh, I feel like I've definitely seen him in TV shows. He made his film debut in My Bodyguard. Damn, he's 6'4". Sheesh. Yeah, he looks familiar. I think I've seen his face before. Everyone's getting up. I guess the jury's coming in. Time for me to blow my nose. I guess the court does start at 9. Darn it! And more time to get ready. I'm still trying to figure out the name of the actor because one of Baldwin's attorneys looks like this actor that always plays, I don't know, like the feds, the government. The one on the right. But he's one of those people that's in a lot of roles and movies, but you just never really remember his character. Alec is starting a reality show on TLC next month about his family. Is it gonna be similar to Kate? Is Kate +8? Oh, the lady in the green. She's pretty. I like her glasses. She kind of looks like, oh, never mind. Just kidding. I was going to say, she kind of looks like Elizabeth Hurley for a second there. I don't know if anyone remembers who Elizabeth Hurley is. Wait, no, you guys are lying. Is there really a reality TV show? Who's in green? I don't know who she is. Court reporter? Stenographer? Not too sure. She's pretty. Let me see. Alec Baldwin TV show. He was in, 30 Rock. I never watched 30 Rock. I heard it was good, though. Wait, the Baldwins. Wait, what? Wait, there is a TLC reality series? I thought you guys were lying.
The matter I'm calling is D101CR 2024-13, State of New Mexico versus Alexander Ray Baldwin.
I hope they fix his audio.
All right, jury, what are you doing? Oh, I have it on. So, I have already sworn you in, if you'll recall, yesterday. Okay. And now I'm going to explain some trial procedure. First of all, I want you to know this trial is being filmed, but you are not being filmed, and you will not be filmed at all throughout within the courtroom, okay? All right. So I'm going to, this is a criminal case, as you know. I'm going to reread the grand jury indictment. It's very formal, so we'll go with that. Count 1, involuntary manslaughter, negligent use of a firearm, in that on or about October 21, 2021, in Santa Fe County, New Mexico, State of New Mexico, at Bonanza Creek Ranch, located at 545 Bonanza Creek Road, Santa Fe, NM 87508. The above named defendant did cause the death of Helena Hutchins in the commission of negligent use of a firearm. Count 1 in the alternative, involuntary manslaughter, without due caution or circumspection, in that on or about October 21, 2021, in Santa Fe County, State of New Mexico, at Bonanza Creek Ranch, located at 545 Bonanza Creek Road, Santa Fe, New Mexico, 87507, the above named defendant did cause the death of Helena Hutchins by an act committed with the total disregard or indifference for the safety of others, and the act was such that an ordinary person would anticipate that death might occur under the circumstances. Again, Mr. Baldwin is presumed innocent. The burden is always on the state to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
I like her glasses too. Also, it's so weird to listen to this in normal speed.
What I say now is the introduction of the case and the instructions. As previously given, these are preliminary only and may be changed during or at the end of trial. First of all of you must pay close attention to the evidence. After you've heard all of the evidence in the case, I will read the final instructions of law to you. You will also receive a written copy of the instructions. You must follow the final instructions in deciding this case. And just so you know, there's going to be no transcript available to you.
No transcript?
Juries have asked me that, so I'm telling you up front, okay? Again, the trial is expected to last 8 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. That's the trial. That does not include your deliberation time.
What if you're not sure if you heard something correctly? I'm always confused about the no transcript access. Like maybe like not have like a stack of transcripts to read from, but like, hey, Judge, I need you to refresh my memory about X, Y, and Z's testimony. Can we just like read a portion of their transcript just to refresh it? Like, I don't know. Like, what's the big deal with that?
The usual hours of trial will be from 8:30 to 5, typically, with a half hour for lunch.
Half hour?
No, an hour for lunch. And then a morning break and an afternoon break. Half hour for lunch. No, an hour for lunch. And then
okay.
A morning break and an afternoon break. Again, please report to the jury lounge no later than 8:30 unless we're instructing you otherwise for different reasons. But in your mind, you can always expect 8:30 to be here, okay? Do not come into the courtroom unless you are accompanied by my bailiff, Steve, okay?
Steve.
You may take water into the courtroom with you, and you can also take coffee or tea or if you have a lid on your cup, okay? We stand up out of respect for you because you are the ultimate decision makers as to the facts in this particular case. So when you come into the courtroom, you can go ahead and be seated, and then we will take our seats. And again, it's important to hear. So please raise your hand at any time you can't hear. Don't be self-conscious about it. Don't wait until a couple of questions have been asked. You've got to, if you can't hear, you've got to shoot that hand up right away, okay? All right, this is a public proceeding, so people may go in and out. You may find yourself looking at who goes in and out, but after a while, you'll get used to it. But if there is anything that is distracting you from being able to listen and be involved in this case, please tell Steve immediately. He'll let me know, and I'll do my best to get rid of the distraction. As you know, the temperature we cannot control.
Apparently, the AC doesn't work very well. Oh, goodness. What does that remind you of? Didn't that happen in the Karen retrial? But apparently in this courtroom, I'm sure they can probably hear a lot better. Hopefully.
All right, so sorry, we'll try to get the county in here if it plummets too high. I doubt it'll plummet too low. You are allowed but not required to take notes during trial. Steve has given you a pad and a pen? Okay. Please put your name on the front page of your pad and then take notes beginning on the second page. On breaks, follow Steve's instruction on whether to take the pad with you or whether to leave it on your chair. You don't have to worry about confidentiality. They'll be locked up at night, and when the trial is finished, they'll be shredded. Okay? Don't let your notes take the place of your independent memory of the evidence. When taking notes, please do not forget to pay close attention to the trial. Listening and watching witnesses during their testimony will help you assess their appearance, behavior, memory, and whatever else bears on their credibility. Let's go through the order of trial for those that have not engaged in a criminal trial before. Evidence to show. These statements and the statements made by the lawyers during the course of the trial can be of considerable assistance to you in understanding the evidence as it is presented at trial. Is there something distracting you, juror?
No.
I'm talking to the other one. Okay. Statements of the lawyers, however, are not themselves evidence.
Jeez.
The evidence will be the testimony of the witnesses, exhibits, and any facts agreed to by the parties. After you have heard all of the evidence, I will give you final instructions on the law. The lawyers will argue the case, and then you will retire to the jury room to arrive at a verdict. It is my duty to decide what evidence you may consider. Your job is to find and determine the facts in this case, which you must do solely upon the evidence received here in court. It is the duty of a lawyer to object to questions, testimony, or exhibits the lawyer believes may not be proper, and you must not hold such objection against the objecting party. I will sustain objections if the question or evidence sought is improper for you to consider. If I sustain an objection to evidence, you must not consider such evidence, nor may you consider any evidence I have told you to disregard. By itself, a question is not evidence. You must not speculate about what would be the answer to a question that I rule cannot be answered. It is for you to decide whether the witnesses know what they are talking about and whether they are being truthful.
Now, Court TV went all out. They got the 3 cameras in the courtroom.
You may give the testimony of any witness whatever weight you believe it merits. You may take into account, among other things, the witness's ability and opportunities to observe, memory, manner, or any bias or prejudice that the witness may have, and the reasonableness of the testimony considered in light of all of the evidence of the case. No ruling, gesture, or comment I make during the course of the trial should influence your decision in this case. At times, I may ask questions of witnesses. If I do, such questions do not in any way indicate my opinion about the facts or indicate the weight I feel you should give to the testimony of the witnesses. Questions by jurors. Ordinarily, the attorneys will develop all pertinent evidence. It is the exception rather than the rule that an individual juror will have an unanswered question after all of the evidence is presented. However, if you feel an important question has not been asked or answered, write it down on a piece of your notepaper and give it to Steve before this is important, before the witness leaves the stand. Okay?
Yes.
I will decide whether or when your question will be asked. Rules of
I love how they do this, and they did this in the Hannah retrial as well. So depending on where you're at, sometimes juries can submit questions and then it can get answered. And then the cool thing about getting the questions coming in is you kind of know where the jury's head might be at.
evidence or other considerations apply to questions you submit and may prevent the question from being asked. If the question is not asked, please do not give it any further consideration. Do not discuss it with the other jurors, and please do not hold it against either side that you did not get an answer. Conduct of jurors. Again, very important. You must decide the case solely upon the evidence received here in court. You must not consider anything you may have read or heard about the case outside the courtroom. During the trial and your deliberations, you must avoid news accounts of the trial, whether they be on radio, television, the internet, or in a newspaper or other written publication. You must not visit the scene of the incident on your own. You cannot make experiments with reference to the case, and in this day and age, you cannot Google or research any of the subject matter of this case. Until you retire to deliberate the case, you must not discuss this case or the evidence with anyone, including each other. Very important, as I said yesterday, when you go in that room, you don't talk about the case. You wait until you are a jury that is deliberating, okay? If an exhibit is admitted in evidence, you should examine it yourself and not talk about it with other jurors until you retire to deliberate. It is important that you keep an open mind and not decide any part of the case until the entire case has been completed and submitted to you. Your special responsibility as jurors demands that throughout this trial, you exercise your judgment impartially and without regard to any sympathy, bias, or prejudice. To minimize the risk of accidentally overhearing something that is not evidence in this case, please continue to wear your jurors' badges while in and around the courthouse. If someone happens to discuss the case in your presence, report that fact immediately to Steve. Although it is natural to visit with people you meet, please do not talk with any of the attorneys, parties, witnesses, or spectators, either in or out of the courtroom. If you meet in the hallways or elevators, there's nothing wrong with saying a good morning or a good afternoon, but your conversation should end there. If the attorneys, parties, and witnesses do not greet you outside of court or avoid riding in the same elevator with you, they are not being rude. They are just carefully observing.
Oh, what's up with the audio? Hello?
All right, so
Yeah, the jurors, they can talk to each other. They just can't talk about the case. Like, they can have small talk with each other. Like, oh, how's the weather? Oh, you celebrate your birthday. Oh, great. How was your weekend?
we're going to begin the case. The case starts with opening statements. The state begins first because they have the burden of proof, and then the defendant.
Quick housekeeping matter while Ms.
Wait, who's giving opening statements? Please let it be Morrissey. I feel bad for this attorney. I think she got thrown into the case about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know what happened there. At first, I thought she was replacing Morrissey, and I was like, oh no, we need Morrissey. Opening statements. Okay, so what do we got so far? 8:30 to 5 p.m. is their court days. The jury only has half an hour lunch. No, the judge is like, no, 1 hour lunch. Dude, could you imagine having only a half an hour lunch and you're sitting there from 8:30 to 5? They're allowed to take notes. No transcripts, though. They will not be getting any transcripts. But can they get a readback on certain parts of the transcripts? They're allowed to ask questions. However, if they want to submit their question, they have to submit it while the witness is still on the stand. And then the judge, she'll make it's up to her discretion whether or not she's going to read the questions to have to be answered.
When someone plays make-believe with a real gun in a real-life workplace, and while playing make-believe with that gun violates the cardinal rules of firearm safety, people's lives are endangered, and someone could be killed. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what this case is about.
Who's talking?
It's simple, it's straightforward. The evidence will show that someone who played make-believe with a real gun and violated the cardinal rules of firearm safety is the defendant, Alexander Baldwin. You will hear over the course of the next few days that in the fall of 2021, a movie called Rust began filming at the Bonanza Creek Ranch just south of Santa Fe in Santa Fe County. You will learn that this movie was a Western with a lot of gun action. And while it was a movie set, it was a real-life workplace for many people. But you will hear this workplace was on a tight budget.
Ooh, they upped her audio. Yes, thank
And
you.
you will learn that some of the people who were hired to work at this workplace were very inexperienced. And one of those
Armor.
was the armorer, a very young woman named Hannah Gutierrez Reed. You will hear testimony from crew members who worked on the set, who will tell you that to them, Ms. Gutierrez's inexperience was obvious.
Yeah, the judge and the
You
prosecutor,
will
they have cute
also
little
learn
faces.
that this workplace has some talented people. And one of those was the director of photography, a vibrant 42-year-old rising star named Helena Hutchins. You will also learn that the director of this film was Joel Souza, another talented individual who cares deeply for his projects. The evidence will show, ladies and gentlemen, that like in many workplaces, there are people who act in a reckless manner and place other individuals in danger and act without due regard for the safety of others. That, you will hear, was the defendant, Alexander Baldwin, the lead actor on this film. You will learn that this movie began filming on or about October 6, 2021. But the defendant did not arrive on set to begin working until about October 13. And you will learn that prior to arriving on the set to work, he requested to be assigned the biggest gun available. So he was assigned this revolver, a replica of an 1873 single-action revolver manufactured by Pieta Firearms in Italy. You will hear from Alessandro Pieta, who will tell you he manufactured this gun. And he will tell you he manufactured it in 2015. And he will explain the quality control measures that Pieta Firearms follows in order to ensure that firearms that are manufactured by Pieta Firearms don't have any problems or issues. Mr. Pieta will tell you that this firearm he himself manufactured, and that when Pieta sent it to EMF, which is the company that distributes firearms for Pieta Firearms in the United States, this gun was in perfect working condition. You will hear from Justin Neal, who is a representative of EMF, a company out of California that has historically been known to provide firearms to the movie industry. Mr. Neal will tell you that when EMF received this firearm in 2017, it was in perfect working order. And in fact, when EMF had this firearm, it was subjected to numerous quality control inspections because it was used as a show gun at gun shows. The evidence will show that in September of 2021, an individual by the name of Seth Kenny was contacted by the folks with Rust Production. They asked Mr. Kenny if he would be able to provide some firearms for the filming, for use during the filming of Rust. You will learn that Mr. Kenny owns PDQ Firearm and Prop. It's a duly licensed firearms dealership. Mr. Kenny then contacted EMF and ordered several single-action replica revolvers. And in September, or on September 29, 2021, Mr. Kenny purchased this gun. And you will hear that Mr. Kenny received it from EMF, and it was in perfect working order. The only thing that Mr. Kenny did to this gun was to insert the firing pin, because since it was a show gun, it didn't have a firing pin. But you'll learn that that's a very easy step. All he had to do was just insert the pin, and that's it. And then Mr. Kenny had the firearms, this one and some other firearms, transferred to the set of Rust at the Bonanza Creek Ranch. And on October 13, 2021, the defendant was supposed to have a training session with this gun and this young armorer.
This is what I want to know more
But
about.
you will see that during this training session, the defendant had somebody or a couple of people filming him while he's running around shooting this gun. You will learn, ladies and gentlemen, or you'll hear during this trial the use of the words prop gun. And you'll learn a prop gun is this real gun. It's not a toy. It's not made of rubber. It's a real gun. You will also see evidence, ladies and gentlemen, that during the days before that fateful October 21st day, the defendant handled this firearm multiple occasions. You will see video footage of the defendant firing this firearm, working perfectly fine. But you'll see evidence, ladies and gentlemen, that each time the defendant handled this firearm, he did not do a safety check with that inexperienced armorer. And you'll hear that the reason he didn't do a safety check is because he didn't want to offend her.
What?
The evidence you will see will paint...
Baldwin's shaking his head. I want to know, maybe there's other witnesses that will testify to that. They don't want to offend her.
a real-life picture of a real-life workplace where this defendant mishandled this gun. You will see him using this gun as a pointer to point at people, to point at things. You will see him cock the hammer when he's not supposed to cock the hammer. You will see him put his finger on the trigger when his finger's not supposed to be on the trigger. You will hear about numerous breaches of firearm safety with this defendant and this use of this firearm. And the evidence will show that on the morning of October 21st, 2021,
I wonder how many roles has Alec Baldwin played as where he had to handle a gun? TV shows, movies.
the camera crew walked off set. And you will learn that one of the reasons that camera crew walked out is because they were concerned over safety breaches with the use of firearms. The evidence will show that the morning of October 21st started out a couple of hours behind. They filmed some scenes at this church on the Bonanza Creek Ranch. And you will see that one of those scenes required the defendant to pull out his gun. This was in the morning. Pull out his gun, and you'll hear the director tell him, pull it out and hold it. And the first time, you'll see evidence the defendant does what the director tells him. But you will hear the director tell you that many times the defendant would do his own thing. So then the director in the morning asked him, okay, do it again, just like you did now. The defendant pulls out the gun, but this time he cocks the hammer. The evidence will show they then broke for lunch. And around 1:30 or so, they came back to this church to do what's called a blocking. The evidence will show that Ms. Hutchins wanted to do a blocking for an insert. And you will learn what a blocking is, just working out the details of the moves of the actor. Wasn't even a rehearsal. You will hear from one of the witnesses who walked into the church and saw the defendant kind of playing with his gun. And then you will see evidence or hear evidence that Ms. Hutchins and Mr. Souza were talking to the defendant about doing this insert. And the insert was just supposed to be from here to here, and it was supposed to be of the defendant just slowly taking his gun out of his holster, and just holding it at an angle. The evidence will show that someone asked the armorer to bring the defendant's gun to him, and she did. She brought it into the church, showed it to David Halls, who you will learn was the first assistant director. The gun was empty.
David
Ms.
Halls.
Gutierrez then handed the gun to the defendant. But then you will hear that Ms. Gutierrez was given the gun back, and she took it and loaded it with dummy rounds. And what you will learn is that dummy rounds are inert rounds. They look like real rounds, but they are very easy to tell that they are not because they'll rattle. Ms. Gutierrez then went back to the church, showed the revolver to the first assistant director very fast. They only checked about 3 rounds, very quick. And they missed 1 round. You will learn that one of the rounds in that revolver was a real round. And the evidence will show that Ms. Gutierrez then handed the gun to the defendant. And what you will learn is that once again, the defendant failed to do a gun check or a safety check with this armorer. So he takes the firearm, puts it in his holster. Then Ms. Hutchins and Mr. Souza were doing this blocking. And the evidence will show, ladies and gentlemen, that the defendant, again, did his own thing. You will hear from an individual by the name of Kent Jorgensen. Mr. Jorgensen will tell you that he's been involved in drafting and revising movie set safety rules. You will learn that these movie set safety rules require actors, like the defendant, to treat every firearm as though it's loaded, to never point a firearm at another person, and to never put your finger on the trigger unless you're prepared to shoot or to destroy whatever's in front of you. The evidence will show that on October 21st, 2021, after that lunch break, the defendant once again violated those set safety rules. And during this blocking, the director had instructed him to just slowly take out that gun and just hold it at an angle. But you will see that the defendant takes it out quickly the first time, points it. And you will hear witness testimony who will tell you the first time he does it, his finger is on or around the trigger. He does it again, takes it out very fast, points it. And once again, you will hear testimony that his finger was on or around the trigger. And the evidence will show that that third and fatal time, he takes it out once again, fast, hammer's cocked, he cocks the hammer, points it straight at Ms. Hutchins, and fires that gun, sending that live bullet right into Ms. Hutchins' body. You will learn that this bullet was a .45 caliber round that entered Ms. Hutchins' body right underneath her right underarm. It perforated her right lung. It traveled through her spine, lacerating her spinal cord, and then it exited on the left side of her back. That bullet then went into Joel Souza's right shoulder, and it came to rest in his back, from where doctors removed it once he was transported to St. Vincent's Hospital here in Santa Fe. You will learn, ladies and gentlemen, that Ms. Hutchins did not have the same fate. You will see the aftermath of the shooting, and you will see medics frantically working to save Ms. Hutchins, to stabilize her, to transport her, to airlift her to UNM Hospital. But the damage from that bullet was too much. Ms. Hutchins succumbed to her injuries and bled to death. The evidence will show that meanwhile, after the shooting, the defendant began to claim he didn't pull the trigger. The evidence will show, ladies and gentlemen, that's not possible. You will hear from Mr. Pieta himself, who will tell you that gun will not discharge without a pull of the trigger. You will hear from firearms experts who will tell you that gun will not discharge without a pull of that trigger. The evidence will show that law enforcement officials arrived at the scene on October 21st after the shooting and immediately took this gun into their custody. Then later, they asked the FBI for assistance in processing this gun for forensics and examination. You will learn that the gun and some ammunition that was taken from the set and from PDQ arms were sent to the FBI for analysis. You will learn that the gun first went to the DNA section of the lab, where a DNA analyst found the defendant's DNA on this gun. And then the gun was transferred to the firearms and tool mark section of the lab, where a firearms examiner examined this gun very carefully and closely. Bryce Ziegler, who is the firearms examiner for the FBI, will tell you that when he received this firearm, he first examined it. He didn't see any defects, didn't see any modifications. He tried and he checked the hammer in the 3 different positions, cocking positions. He checked the quarter cock position, fine. Checked the half cock position, fine. Checked the full cock position, fine. And when he held it in the full cock position, you will hear that hammer held until he pulled the trigger. You will also hear that Mr. Ziegler test fired this gun 12 different times. And each time, that gun fired as it was designed. Each time, when he pulled that trigger, it fired. And he will tell you that not once did this gun malfunction or discharge on its own. Now, the evidence will show that because the defendant had been claiming that he didn't pull the trigger, Mr. Ziegler suggested one last test to the Sheriff's Department. Mr. Ziegler told the Sheriff's Department that he could do what's called an accidental discharge test. He obtained authorization to do this test, and you will hear that he left that test for last because that test could potentially damage the gun. Mr. Ziegler went forward after he received this authorization and conducted the accidental discharge test. And you will hear, ladies and gentlemen, that during that test, a couple of the internal components of this firearm damaged. You will hear that the trigger sear and the full cock hammer notch were damaged during the accidental discharge testing. The evidence will show, however, that before this accidental discharge testing by the FBI, this gun functioned and worked perfectly fine. You'll see the video footage of the multiple occasions during which the defendant used this firearm on the set, and each time he fired it, it was working just fine. And in fact, you'll hear evidence that the defendant himself admitted in December of 2021 that this gun didn't have any mechanical problems. You will hear from the 2 of the country's leading experts on firearms forensics, Michael Haig and Lucian Haig. And they will tell you that they examined the revolver and the damaged pieces extensively. They will tell you that the damage to the full cock trigger notch is consistent with the accidental discharge testing that was conducted by the FBI. Lucian Haig will tell you that in August of 2023, he examined the trigger sear, the other piece, and that when he looked at it initially with the naked eye, there was nothing wrong with it. He couldn't see anything. But then he put it under the microscope, and he noticed some kind of rough microscopic diagonal lines on the surface of the trigger sear. And since at the time he did not know how Mr. Ziegler had conducted the accidental discharge test, he opined that these very small microscopic lines were likely not caused by the FBI accidental discharge testing, but he could not exclude that as the source of those lines. Then a few weeks ago, Mr. Haig will tell you that he spoke with Mr. Ziegler, and he learned how Mr. Ziegler had conducted the accidental discharge test. Mr. Ziegler explained that he affixed that firearm onto a fixed platform and then struck the firearm on 6 different planes with a rubber mallet. And Mr. Ziegler explained to Mr. Haig that he had not affixed the mallet to another fixed device. Instead, he did it freehand.
There's a fly in here. Oh.
Mr. Haig will tell you with his 50-plus years of experience as a firearms forensics expert, he opined or concluded that those very tiny microscopic diagonal lines on the surface of the trigger sear were likely caused by the FBI's accidental discharge test. The evidence will show, ladies and gentlemen, that regardless of how those tiny microscopic lines got on that trigger sear, these firearms experts will tell you that those would not affect the functionality of this firearm. At the end of this case, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to conclude and be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that on October 21st, 2021, that gun the defendant had asked to be assigned worked perfectly fine as it was designed, and that the fatal and one of the main problems that afternoon of October 21st was that the defendant didn't do a gun safety check with that inexperienced armorer. He pointed the gun at another human being, cocked the hammer, and pulled that trigger in reckless disregard for Ms. Hutchins' safety. And you will be convinced that the only true and just verdict in this case, so that true justice can be served, is a verdict of guilty to involuntary manslaughter. Thank you.
That was a good opening statement. She was really easy to follow. She didn't throw in a bunch of names there to confuse you. Anytime a name was thrown in, she would go in and further explain more about that person, that witness, what they're going to say, X, Y, and Z. I think she did a really good job with opening. Very easy to follow. Now, in the Hannah Reid trial, the direction was a little bit different than Alec Baldwin's, because Alec Baldwin's saying, well, I didn't pull the trigger. So that's the reason why they have to get all these experts like the maker of Piet to come in and talk about, oh no, the gun was working. Or people who are experts on like guns in general to talk about, oh, you know, this gun was working properly. You know, we did the check, X, Y, and Z and all that stuff. So there was that. Also, let's see. Oh, remember, so when during that day on the set, when Hannah was supposed to check the gun, the bullets, Hannah made a motion saying that it seems like she picked them all up at the same time and shook them instead of shaking each bullet individually, the dummy rounds, because if you shake the dummy rounds, they're supposed to have little beads in there, right? And so it seems like she might have picked up like a bunch of them at the same time and shook them all, but you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do it one by one by one by one. There is contention on whether or not Hannah handed the gun to Baldwin or David Halls. I think in the Hannah retrial, David Hall said that Hannah was the one that handed the gun to Alec Baldwin. But apparently there's been, Alec Baldwin made like two different statements. Initially, I think he said that Dave Hall's handed him the gun, but then later on in an interview, he said that it was Hannah that handed him the gun. That was one thing. And yeah, I mean, those are my notes. That's pretty much about it. I think she did a really good job.
This was an unspeakable. May I proceed? Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. This was an unspeakable tragedy, but Alec Baldwin committed no crime. He was an actor acting, playing the role of Harlan Rust. An actor playing a character can act in ways that are lethal, that just aren't lethal on a movie set. These cardinal rules, they're not cardinal rules on a movie set. And I don't have to tell you much more about this because you've all seen gunfights in movies. And the reason that can happen is because safety is ensured before the actor. On this movie set, there were people responsible for ensuring the safety of the set and the firearm. Those people failed in their duties, but Alec Baldwin committed no crime. The most critical issue in this case is how a real bullet got on a movie set. The evidence will show that real bullets are never supposed to be on movie sets. Movie sets use dummies and blanks. Movie sets use dummies, fake inert bullets that look like real bullets, they don't go bang, for when you want a close-up of the gun. You can't tell them apart from live bullets by looking at them, which is why live bullets can be nowhere near a movie set. And if the director wants a shot of the gun going, bang, poof, there's blanks that they can use. And those blanks look nothing like real bullets. And they are used for those shooting scenes. And, they'll play these videos that they described of Alec's, firearm in the movie going bang, poof. And people are conditioned to seeing people firing weapons and thinking, that's a dangerous act, that's a dangerous act. And they will play those videos and give you that image to try to tarnish him in your eyes. But that's not what happened here. On this set, there was a real bullet, something that should never be on a movie set, something which has nothing to do with making a movie. And you will hear no evidence, not one word, that Alec Baldwin had anything to do with that real bullet being brought onto that set. The second critical issue in this case is why did a real bullet get loaded into a prop movie gun? It is undisputed that the bullet was loaded into the gun by the armorer, the person on set whose responsibility it was to ensure the gun was safe. And so picture that moment of the armorer placing a live bullet into that firearm. You hear the prosecutor say, he did this or he performed in a certain way. He picked out the biggest gun as his prop. It's to tarnish him in your eyes. You will hear no evidence whatsoever. No evidence that anything Mr. Baldwin did, that something he did in that moment, that horrible moment when she put that bullet in that gun, none of it had anything to do with Alec Baldwin. And finally, the first assistant director's job, the head of safety, Dave Halls, checks it before it goes to the actor. And he will tell you he made a tragic mistake. He failed to detect a live bullet. And Alec Baldwin had nothing to do with that either. So all this evidence that the prosecutor just outlined, all of it, has nothing to do with these critical issues. Nothing. Which leads us to this. The evidence will show that on a movie set, safety has to occur before the gun is placed in the actor's hands. In this case, this unique case on a movie set, the prop gun was placed in Mr. Baldwin's hands and cold gun was announced, meaning it had been checked and double-checked by those responsible to ensure the gun was safe. It was just a prop. They all thought it was just a prop and could do no harm.
Hello.
The actor's job is to act, to rehearse, to choreograph his moves, to memorize his lines. He's Harlan Rust. He's an outlaw running for his life, who in the incident in question, he's pulling a six-shooter to try to defend himself. That's why the gun has to be safe before it gets into the actor's hands. His mind is somewhere else, in the being of another, a century away, an outlaw. He must be able to take that weapon and use it as the person he's acting would. To wave it, to point it, to pull the trigger like actors do, in ways that would be lethal in the real world, but are not lethal on a movie set. And I'm going to show you that scene now before lunch. And if we could just play action.
I'm gonna go find some help.
I don't need no damn help.
You're gonna die if you don't.
He's wounded on the run. So play again. Continue.
Arlen Rust. Need you stand up nice and slow. Toss any weapons you have.
He's on the church pew, bleeding, his hand gripping the revolver. He would defend himself against the men in the movie. Play.
One more. You good? Ready? Arlen Rust. Did you get up nice and slow, tossing the weapons you have?
What help can I get right there?
Joel, you want me to wait to give you that line till he lands? Till camera lands?
Yeah.
Yep.
7 minutes, one? Yeah. Draw your gun and look up and point your gun, okay?
Okay, which way? Camera right or left?
This way, for now.
So camera left for now.
I'll stand right here for you, Alec.
So whip it out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me get this all greased. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Okay, ready? Ready.
And set. Ready, and action.
Arlen Rust.
Do one more just like that. You got one more? Yeah.
Ready, ready, ready,
They
ready.
want him to do it again. There's no danger. They want him to do it again.
And set. Ready, and action.
Arlen Rust. Nice.
It's a scene similar to scenes we've all seen in movies and television, performed by thousands of actors. And the scene that continues after lunch is the same scene, it's just not unfortunately captured on videotape. And the scene they envisioned and acted out, that prop gun was positioned in the afternoon so close to the camera that you could see inside, that you could feel it. You could feel that it was loaded, and it was loaded, of course, with dummies. Dummies to make it look like a real gun. But this one time, one of those dummies was a real bullet. The real bullet was not known to anyone in that church. Amongst the actors, directors, and crew in the scene, everyone was doing exactly how they go about their business every day on a movie, not as if some lethal element had been included in the environment. You will see creativity and movement and everyone talking and vibrant. No one had any idea that this venomous, toxic element had been inserted into this magic they were creating. But it did. It entered that place. It killed an amazing person. It wounded another, and it changed lives forever. And so to find out what happened on that movie set, you need to do something that the prosecutors could never do. You have to step back and remember what they were doing on a movie set. What were Helena Hutchins, the cinematographer, Joel Souza, the director, and Alec Baldwin, the actor, doing on Bonanza Creek Ranch? You know, movies and magic have always been closely associated. The first people that made movies were magicians. And this imagination that happens in movies, you know, King Kong, he can stand above a city, and Superman can fly, horses and snakes and gun battles. For this to all work, for cinematography, what Helena did to work, for acting to work, you have to be so close to the barrier of real and imagined that the viewer feels that they're there, that it's real. The viewer can't see strings from the stuntman. The stuntman must leap. The snake must hiss. And guns happen in movies. All over this country for many decades. Bang, bang. You've all seen it. Guns have been an element of theater and film and television since the earliest of times. Depictions of war and combat, Spartacus, it stirs audiences because it feels real. Later films, Platoon, Apocalypse Now, they showed the unvarnished realities of war. This ranch in Santa Fe, it had been the scene to many gunfights and movie scenes, well before Alec was even born. Laramie, Butch and the Sundance Kid, and these westerns.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yeah, I'm like, where are we going with this?
The evidence will show that guns are in movies because movies are about people's lives and guns are in people's lives. So let's talk about the evidence and how the lethal bullet got there. How did this happen and how did it unfold? The evidence will be the following. Everybody on a movie set has a role. The armorer armors, the director directs, the actor acts. They work in harmony, but they have a division of responsibility. Safety being important has the first assistant director, whose name is Dave Halls, above the armorer and sort of the safety of the set. And on that day in question, the cast and the creative directors and crew in the church, it's a fake church, their actors are not in their normal clothes, it's costumes, there's debris falling from the ceiling, it's fake debris, and they yell out cold gun. And that is an important term you're going to learn in this case. It means that the gun is cold. No one need worry. But even that requires a little bit more explanation. Cold gun doesn't mean no live bullets. There are for sure 100% no live bullets on movie sets. That's unimaginable. Cold means you don't even have the fake blank poof in it. You don't need to worry even about eye gear or earplugs for that fake bang. It means it's empty, inert, cosmetic, can do no harm. Cold guns can't hurt people. It's impossible, literally impossible for a cold gun to hurt somebody. You could hurt you more by dropping it on your foot. And that's why these artists are carrying on in their art. Cold gun, all clear to go. And the armorer on this set hands a prop gun to Alec, like she had done times before, like people have done with him in movies for a generation. And he's there. He's in the movie set church with his movie set gear and his holster, and he takes his movie set gun. And he's deeply focused in that moment on his character. The artists, the crew members, they're moving around him. Again, no eye gear or earplugs, nothing to protect against. They carry on. They practice. They rehearse. They take a lunch break. Some folks leave, some don't. They continue the scene. Dave Halls, the head of safety, is actually practicing the movement so they can frame. They can frame the footage that will happen after lunch. And the prop cold gun comes back. The prop cold gun comes back, cold gun. They call it again. Same gun, again, safe. The first assistant director, Dave Halls, head of safety for the entire film, a man with decades of experience, comes and takes the additional step and inspects the gun. Verifies again, cold gun. Everyone relax. Go back to focus on the making of a movie. There's nothing in the gun that can hurt anybody. And Alex sits on that pew. And the creative directors, the crew, they're moving around him, in front of him. And Harlan Rust, he begins, like the prosecutor told you, rehearsing, acting. This is a completely mundane, uneventful, routine act on a movie set. On a movie set. And so everybody carries on. Nobody fathomed, imagined, foresaw any possible danger. They moved around Alec as he practiced his draw. As the prosecutor put it, working out the details of the move and the actor. He does it again, does it in a different way. Nobody bats an eye. And they will tell you that the investigation revealed that Baldwin was practicing drawing and pointing the weapon of the scene with guidance and instruction from Helena Hutchins and Joel Souza. The gun goes off. Everybody's shocked. Alec is startled. He immediately says, I didn't mean to shoot I didn't pull the trigger. Immediately. What the hell just happened? They collectively exclaim. Shock turns to panic. 911 is called.
out at Bonanza Creek Ranch right now. We've had 2 people shot on a movie set accidentally.
You said someone was shot?
2 people accidentally with gunshots out on a movie set, Bonanza Creek Ranch.
Okay,
Send it.
I'll connect you with medical dispatch. Don't need that. San Jose Fire and EMS, what's the location of the emergency?
No, Bonanza Creek Ranch. We've had 2 people accidentally shot on a movie set by a prop gun. We need help immediately. Okay? This fucking AD that yelled at me at lunch because asking about revisions, this motherfucker. Did you see him lean over my shoulder and yell at me? He's got disgusted guns. He's responsible for what happened in the company.
Now, Mimi?
No. I'm a script supervisor.
How many people are injured?
2 that I know of. I was sitting, we were rehearsing, and it went off, and I ran out.
Accidentally shot?
On a movie set with a prop gun. The fucking AD, it was his responsibility. Not a word about Alec Baldwin. While they're en route, police, EMS, the cast and crew are outside, trying to figure out what happened, frantic, talking to those responsible for the prop and its safety. The armorer is yelling, sorry. Hall's the first assistant director is panicked. The prop master, Sarah Zachary, I don't know exactly where she is at that point, but they check the gun feverishly. They take the ammo out of the gun. They look at it, what the heck happened? They go back to the prop cart that houses the ammo. They're touching the gun and manipulating the gun, emptying it. They go and move some stuff off the prop cart, trying to figure it out. Sarah Zachary, the head of props, will tell you she threw some stuff out. And eventually, of course, EMS and police arrive pretty soon thereafter. And Helena Hutchins and Joel Souza, the director, are transported to the hospital where Helena tragically passes away. And I'm not going to be asking questions about her condition after she was wounded or the medical interventions that followed. Her injuries, the efforts to revive her, are not in dispute in this case. The evidence will be there. The prosecutor may present some of these emotionally charged images, but we're not going to be asking questions about that, and it's not an issue in dispute in this case. You jurors are allowed to ask yourselves whether or not that should be the focus or the focus should be the evidence. So police enter the scene. They have lapel cameras. Thank God they have lapel cameras. You want to see what happens? The evidence will show you can play the videotape. Want to see if they take the right gun? Play the videotape. Want to make sure what the people said or did, they're remembering correctly? Play the videotape. And so they immediately recover the prop gun and they secure it. That's off to the side. And the reason that you preserve things in the moment is so that you know what existed in the moment, the evidence in the moment, the people and the witnesses and what they said in the moment. These folks, the members of Rust, they'd never been through anything like this before. That is why what they originally said matters so much in this case. If you remember anything I say today as the evidence proceeds, remember that. Look at the evidence of what the people of Rust said and did that day. Life changes, memories change, there are human motivations, internal pressure, external pressure. That's why preservation is so important. So the police continue. In terms of the prop cart and the prop ammo that's on the cart, it's manipulated, altered, kind of messy. And, at this accidental shooting on a movie set, the police begin to make some mistakes. No one had ever investigated a prop gun on a movie set before. They recover the prop gun, but they don't wear gloves. They don't have the prop cart inside the crime scene. Someone moves it onto the crime scene. People start touching it and showing, okay, this is a dummy, this is a blank. And then they make another mistake that matters in this case with some more significance, which is that they don't secure the prop truck that houses the cart. See, that cart that they roll off comes from a truck where all of the ammunition, all of the firearms are, and that's where they're stored. They don't secure the prop truck for several days. And then the prop house that supplies the truck, that supplies the cart, they don't secure for over a month. A lot of mistakes. They had never investigated a case in a movie set. But they had the prop gun. That was key. And so they needed to figure out where the live bullet came from. They had the shell casing, Starline brass. That's the sort of make. You'll hear that phrase, Starline brass. And the police were right to focus on that. That was the lethal element. And so they work outward. Makes good enough sense. folks around the ammo and the gun to be interviewed at the precinct, the armorer at the precinct, she loaded the live bullet, Halls, head of safety, he double-checked, and Alec walks up to the police, you'll see this early today, and he says, I'm here, whatever you want to do, whatever you need me to do, just tell me where to go. And Sarah Zachary, the prop master who threw out the stuff at the cart, they missed her that night to bring to the precinct, but the rest of them at the precinct, and thankfully, we have the lapel cameras.
And then they cleared the gun outside after on his request, and I witnessed them clear it and saw the bullets.
Okay. So the one was
The one that was missing, the one that fired, we don't know, but all the other ones were proper.
I can pause this. I can turn this off. Move on. That was just a quick snapshot of the scene.
Let's approach, Your Honor. This is, Ms. Johnson.
They consented to the exhibits. The remaining witnesses from inside the church are interviewed on the scene. They're interviewed with lapel cameras. They're interviewed by the lead detective, Detective Cano. And those witnesses, some of them will come in here and testify. And not a single one of them will tell you anything different than what I'm about to tell you about the evidence. The gun was double-checked, verified it was a cold gun, not an actor's responsibility to check. Safety was ensured before. Alec was doing his practicing, his rehearsing, his movements. People manipulate and point guns on movie sets. The gun went off during the rehearsal. No one saw him intentionally pull the trigger. It was obviously a tragic accident, but Alec committed no homicide. Alec took the gun from those charged with its safety. He did not tamper with it. He did not load it himself. He did not leave it unattended. It completed his costume and his character. It was an actor handling a prop and integrating it into the character of Harlan Rust. There was a dedicated professional there, off camera, whose sole sacred responsibility was that prop safety. And Dave Halls, the head of safety, was there by her side. Everyone relied on that. And it was tragic that they let them down. He was just acting as he has done for generations, and it was the safety apparatus that failed them all. So law enforcement continues. They need to find the live bullet. That was the lethal element. So they, led by Detective Cano, execute a search warrant on the church. And that's what law enforcement does. They immediately go to a judge. They say, this is what we need to do. They go into the church urgently before anything can be altered. They're confirming it was an accident, not a crime in the church. They search for guns and ammunition, videos and photos. There was no further answer in the church. They had the prop gun. They had all those witnesses secured. Their statements are clear. Alec had committed no crime, but the bullet was a mystery. And so they focus on the bullet, the critical, lethal bullet, and how did it enter the movie set. So they had the prop cart, and then they go do the warrant on the prop truck. And so at that point, and I'm going to put up a photo so that you can see who some of these individuals are. They're trying to figure out when they go to the truck, what is the source of the lethal bullet? And so they execute a warrant on the truck approximately a week later. The Seth Kenny that you heard about in the prosecutor's opening, the supplier for the set, he's there. Sarah Zachary, the prop master, she's there. And they walk through what's inside of the prop truck with law enforcement. But there's no answer to the lethal bullet. And this case then takes on, all this pressure. The media begins swirling. Where is the lethal bullet? How did it get on that movie set? And what about that actor, Alec Baldwin, who had nothing to do with why the bullet got on the movie set? And so police and prosecutors, they work hand in hand, meeting after meeting, trying to find the lethal bullet. Meeting with Seth Kenny, meeting with Sarah Zachary, the prop master, the supplier. Where is it? And about a month after the incident, Sarah Zachary finally sits down with law enforcement to answer some questions. And she explains to them that she threw away some stuff. She disposed of some stuff. And the prosecutors and police keep meeting, swirling media, and then at that point, they go to the last step, right? done the cart, gone to the truck, met with Sarah Zachary, and they go execute a search warrant on, as the prosecutor told you, PDQ, the prop house. And again, Seth Kenny's there to greet them, let them in, and they don't find the lethal bullet. They never did. They never did. And as things roll into police and prosecutors, cell phones and photos and forensics, looking for this shiny object, they found another shiny object. Instead of trying to find the source of the lethal bullet, they focused on Mr. Baldwin. But Mr. Baldwin was like every other actor. He goes bang bang in movies. He's told when guns are cold or not. He rehearses and acts as his character. Safety proceeds before the actor. Once the actor has the prop gun, he can handle it however a person he's acting as would. A properly cleared gun can't hurt anybody. And so they told you about some of the things that Alec said in the statements that they will take or picked out a few lines from. But he won't tell you anything different, that he took a gun loaded and cleared by the armorer and the AD. He made motions with the gun as he was rehearsing. He didn't intentionally pull the trigger. The gun just went off. And he does say, I didn't have a problem with the gun before. And this idea, that they said that he didn't want to check because he would offend them, in this moment, he's been doing this for 40 years, the evidence will show. And he has habits, and there are also SAG guidelines that tell actors what to do and what not to do. And the SAG guidelines don't tell actors to check the gun. You will see them. That's not the actor's role. And so I guess the point that they're trying to make is that why in this specific moment he doesn't break his habit of 40 years and check it differently and sort of insult them this one time. If he had done that and started playing with the gun in that way, they'd be saying, arrogant actor, why is he doing that? So they will play these statements, Alec's statements. You're going to hear a man in shock and grief. A father, an artist, worried about his family. You hear he's, on one of the calls, he's going to meet with the decedent's family, the Hutchins family, and he's upset about that. He will talk to law enforcement. He will call them. He doesn't need a lawyer. He didn't commit a crime. He will call them and offer to meet and speak over and over again. And ask anyone in the acting world. Actors know. Actors rely on armorers and point guns and shoot guns. The Armorers Act, what they did, is clear and proven. The head of safety, you will learn, took responsibility for his verification failure. But Alec committed no homicide. So law enforcement didn't have a homicide case against Alec Baldwin. But they changed the question. You heard the prosecutor tell you about this. Did he pull the trigger? Did he pull the trigger? Did he intentionally pull the trigger? And if he did, of course, that would only make his statement incorrect. Right? That would mean he would have misspoke, been incorrect. And I want to stop for a moment and just tell you, because you're going to hear a lot of testimony, expert testimony like the prosecutor told you, about the gun functioning imperfectly. Did he let the hammer down when he cocked it? Did he hit the trigger? Did he, in a calculated manner, as the prosecutor made a motion, fire the gun like that? And when this issue is discussed, it's easy to sort of pull yourself into courtroom land and away from a movie set. On a movie set, you're allowed to pull the trigger. So even if he intentionally pulled the trigger like the prosecutor just demonstrated, that doesn't make him guilty of homicide. He did not know or have any reason to know that gun was loaded with a live bullet. That's the key. That live bullet is the key. That is the lethal element. But again, as the prosecutor told you, if they could prove that he intentionally pulled the trigger and he was imperfect, imprecise, wrong with what he said, then maybe you take that and you say he's lying. And if he's a liar, he committed homicide. And so what they do is they take the prop gun. They're blinded by the shine. They're blinded by trying to disprove Alec. They take it and they order a destructive test on the firearm. They order the FBI to take a test that they know will destroy the firearm. It's a pointless, unnecessary test where they blindly try to make this big case by taking a mallet and smashing the firearm. At the time that they did that, they knew that Alec had adamantly maintained, that he was manipulating the hammer and the gun just went off. That the witnesses said it went off out of nowhere. that there are these accidental discharges that happen on the set, that guns have issues in the real world, that this gun had a hair trigger. And the owner's manual of this specific gun actually says that if you load it with a live round, or any round, in the chamber, in that last position, and you drop it like you see a cowboy in a movie, this type of old cowboy gun can accidentally go off. I don't remember hearing anything about that. The evidence will show that. So rather than trying to answer the question of what happened, they proceed with the destructive test. They eliminate the one item, that could prove what Alec said and believed. They didn't offer him a chance to test the gun. They didn't take the gun apart before they broke it and destroyed it and look at its inner workings. They didn't turn on their videotape. They just destroyed it. Can't ever be tested in the same condition it was.
I don't know. He said something that got Alec Baldwin inching up a little bit. It seems like he might have gotten something wrong.
Before they broke it, they didn't offer him a chance to test the gun. They didn't take the gun apart before they broke it and destroyed it and look at its inner workings. They didn't turn on their videotape. They just destroyed it. Can't ever be tested in the same condition it was in that day. Won't ever allow Alec to show his truth. And the destruction of this gun that you will hear in this evidence is symbolic of this entire case. Because the officers will tell you at that point, they weren't really investigating anymore. They were trying to disprove Alec, to get Alec, to have this day. And so after the destruction of the firearm,
Alec's like, hey, yo, buddy, I got this. I'll finish up the opening statements.
They hired some expert witnesses you heard about to pick up the pieces, so to speak. And the state retained Lucian Haig, an expert with over half a century of experience. And he will come into court and he will tell you he's never seen anything like this in his entire career. They conducted a pointless test, a test that would lead to inevitable destruction of the firearm. There were other correct tests that they could have done to prove whether or not it could have accidentally discharged. None of the experts can test the gun in the condition it was in on the day in question. Why? Not because of something that Alec Baldwin or the...
I don't think Lucian Haig was the one who tested the gun. I thought it was Ziegler. That Ziegler was the one who tested the gun. And then at some point, the gun was destroyed because he wanted to check for an accidental discharge test. I thought Lucian was the one who just took the gun and then looked at it under a microscope.
The crew members of Russ did. They were all clear. The gun just went off. But because of something that law enforcement did. And they deprived him of that opportunity. However, Lucian Haig will tell you that in his analysis, he did find modification that he thought likely pre-existed the FBI testing.
But he changed his mind after talking to the person who tested the gun.
And what that modification means and how it impacted the gun is hard to perfectly know, of course. But it was a modification on an important part.
Why does Baldwin look so stressed right now? Look at his face. I feel like he looks so stressed. I'm going to take a screen grab of this.
It's hard to perfectly know, of course, but it was a modification on an important part, the critical part of the firearm, and it was important enough for them to put into a report and to write a new opinion about. They felt this revelation had to be sent to prosecutors, and they maintained that position, that this modification was a matter of import, for almost a year. And then a few weeks ago, before trial, they just took it back. They just took it back. You will get to see the circumstances of that take back. How far they would go for the shiny object. They never solved the question of the lethal bullet. They destroyed the gun, and all they were left with is Alec Baldwin and the movie they intend to put on. But because they never solved the lethal bullet, they eliminated the prop gun. There will not be one witness, not one shred of evidence in this trial that Alec knew or should have known.
Caravan's like, you know what? Forget the lawyer that's talking to us. Let's just zoom into Alec Baldwin.
The gun was loaded with a live round. So they can't prove. They can't prove their high-profile homicide case. So
that's his lawyer. That's his attorney that's talking right now.
They will proceed to then, here and now, tell you about other things, other evidence that you will hear that has nothing to do with what happened in the church on October 21st. That the movie set as a whole was improper or anything. that they hired the wrong armorer. I think I heard in opening. The evidence will show that the armorer was hired by somebody else, trained by somebody else.
I think Gabrielle Pickle was the one who was in charge of hiring. She testified in the other trial.
Had done gun scenes on Rust with somebody else before Alec even got there. She was the daughter and the apprentice of the most famous and well-respected armorer in Hollywood. And she had just left serving, being an armorer for Nicolas Cage on another Western. Then they'll come in and they'll say, but what about the movie guidelines? You heard of
They should have hit up Nick Cage and be like, hey, Nick Cage, how did Hannah do? That was her first time working as an armorer. How did she do? Did they not crawl for references and ask about, okay, well, let's talk about your previous employer and see how you did? Like, is that not a thing? Or you can do it maybe unofficially, right? Just be like, hey, you know, I heard you're working on like the movie set with Nick Cage. Like, how was Hannah? Was she doing good? What happened?
About Mr. Jorgensen, the movie guidelines. That one of the protocols wasn't followed. Or there was a set safety issue about something unrelated to this. Like these movie guidelines on
Wait, hold on a second. Something's going on here.
Then they'll come in and they'll say, but what about the movie guidelines? And well-respected armorer in Hollywood. And she had just left serving, being an armorer for Nicolas Cage on another Western. Then they'll come in and they'll say, but what about the movie guidelines? You heard about Mr. Jorgensen, the movie guidelines. That one of the protocols wasn't followed. Or there was a set safety issue about something unrelated to this. Like these movie guidelines on a set or the things of Navy SEALs and NASA. The guidelines were followed. They followed the safety guidelines. Actors don't check the weapons. Safety is ensured by dedicated personnel. So they will say, you know, but there had been accidental discharges on the set, that guns had fired accidentally prior. Not related to Alec, by the way. You know, but again, that's the people we looked at. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's fault, Sarah Zachary's fault perhaps, Dave Hall's fault, faults, workplace issues. Some of them will end up, and you will hear the witnesses in this case, many of them have brought civil lawsuits. You know, and you'll hear that, you know, in those civil lawsuits, they're presenting evidence to try to meet a burden, not a criminal beyond a reasonable doubt homicide trial burden, but they're going to try to prove their cases in civil courts. And that's where faults and accidents are at worst 99% worked out. Not here. But you'll hear these members of the Rust crew come in here. They'll try to make sense of this for you. Some of them have sued. Some of them are in grief. Some of them are in grief and have sued. And part of this grief they feel, that everybody feels, is understandable. And what they will do is they will tell you, you know, if only we had had a second armorer. One of them will say, if only Dave Halls had checked better. If only the camera hadn't been right there and Ms. Hutchins wasn't leaning over the camera. If only I myself did this. If only Alec did that. This is natural, their testimony. It's part of the human condition. It's part of grief.
Objection, Your Honor.
None of them
So you can just keep talking?
knew.
Yes.
This guy's so over it.
I was saying.
Objection. This
As I
opening
was
statement's
saying,
too long.
The witnesses, in their grief, will look for reasons to try to make sense of this tragedy. But again, none of them knew or should have known about the lethal bullet either. No one had any idea that it was on that set or in that gun. In that world, they were all in it together. And you will hear that none of this other stuff has anything to do with those two critical questions we started with.
Look at the judge. Everyone's body language in the corner. If you just take 1 second, judge is like, okay. Lady in the green is like, is this about to be over soon? Hilary looks like she's like kind of tired. Everyone's just like looking around like, oh man, is this gonna be over soon? Baldwin looks like he wants to say something because maybe there are some things that he's got wrong. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I want to screen grab this really quick. It's kind of funny. Okay, sorry.
Why
I'm
there was a live
distracted.
bullet on set, why the armorer placed it in the gun, and of course, why the head of safety failed to detect it. None of it speaks to whether Alec knew or should have known those things. He didn't. No one on that set did. It was not foreseeable. You will hear that word from the witnesses and from eventually the instructions. Foreseeable. This was anything other than foreseeable. And they must prove beyond any and all reasonable doubt that this was foreseeable, total indifference to human life, that death might occur, he's an actor. He's an actor. But here we are at a homicide trial. And so they will pull witnesses, and witnesses will be cross-examined.
No, I don't think he was trying to blame Helena and the way that she was positioned. I think he was just trying to explore, oh, there's so many what ifs. What if this? What if that? What if that? But then him like kind of bringing it up in defense opening statement, some people could interpret it as, oh, are you trying to blame Helena? Excuse me. But I don't think he was trying to do that.
Examined, they will push themselves to the edge of truth and beyond. You know, these things about, Alec didn't notice this, or Alec
Wait, I thought he was going to end with that. He's just an actor. I thought he was going to end with that.
didn't notice that. I want to make sure that you're clear on something that the evidence will show. He had been filming on that set for a handful of days. The evidence will show he had just gotten there. It's not as if he had been there for months and months and noticed things and failed things, and he had just gotten there. You don't notice every little thing when you start at a new place and when you're in the character of Harlan Rust. But they will push forward, and they will have gaps in the evidence as well. Don't expect you to be hearing and for them to call the first AD head of safety. I don't know if you'll be hearing from the lead detective, Canal, who investigated this case. The lead detective, or the sergeant that supervised him, Sergeant Zook. I don't think you'll hear from Mr. Schilling, who was the lead investigator for the prosecutors. And so as you hear this, you jurors can assess about that gap of evidence. And there's one thing that I can tell you you will not hear also. You will not hear from an actor or an expert in acting. And so they will play the videotapes of Alec Baldwin, the actor, acting. They will show you perhaps over and over again him in shooting scenes. Bad Alec shooting a gun the wrong way in a movie scene. They will try to get you to picture that and forget that this was a movie set in the first place. And you will see actors in a Western acting. And your mind might go to your favorite gun scene in your favorite movie. You may picture actors and actresses doing exactly what you see here. The other actors in Rust doing the same thing that Mr. Baldwin was doing. But when you come back from that moment, remember, this is a homicide trial. And you will see soon that the reason they play those videos of him over and over is because they don't have any evidence of actual homicide. And you will learn the truth. Not a day goes by when we don't wish Alec had saved her life. But never, the witnesses will tell you, in the history, is something that an actor has done. Intercepted a live bullet from a prop gun. No actor in history. No one could have imagined or expected an actor to do that. So just remember that truth. So when they cry out justice, justice is truth. This was an unspeakable tragedy. Alec Baldwin committed no crime. Thank you.
All right, thank you. What we're going to do now is we're going to take our morning bathroom break. So please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court.
Oh, boy.
And follow what Mr. Bing tells you to do.
How long was that opening statement?
We'll see back here about 20 of. All right. Thank you.
All rise for the jury.
Oh, boy. Okay, so his opening statement could have just been straight to the point, very concise. But I think the reason why he made it a lot longer than it should have been, maybe because he thought it would look bad in comparison to the state's opening statement. I think he should have just focused on it was the armor's responsibility. It was her duties. He's playing the role. And, maybe throw in some, Alec Baldwin he really was concerned for people's safety. He would attend all these safety meetings. He would, make sure he would do the training sessions with the armorer. But maybe the reason why that wasn't mentioned is maybe because he didn't do that. Because I think that would have been really important. Like, he needs to go up there and show, like, hey, Alec Baldwin did his role as an actor. He did care about people's safety, and he made sure that he, was safe around people when he had the gun in his hand. But it was mostly just him saying, he's just an actor. An actor's just focusing on acting. He's just playing a role. Everyone else is responsible because they are the ones who have to make sure that, the gun is safe. For example, the armorer has to make sure. The first AD, Dave Halls, has to make sure. Alec Baldwin was just an actor. He was just waving around the gun. But I think what happened, I don't know. I think what fails in his opening statement is that, yes, Alec Baldwin is just the actor. Yes, there are other people who are supposed to ensure safety, but that doesn't mean Alec Baldwin should just, willy-nilly be pointing the gun at people, right? For me, it seems like if there is a gun in a scene, it seems like everyone knows how that gun is going to be handled. So, for example, okay, Alec Baldwin, we're going to have your hand on the trigger. And it's like, okay, guys, his hand is going to be on the trigger. Everyone knows that's going to happen. Or like, hey, Alec Baldwin, no, you're going to be cocking the gun here.
Hey there, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch.
It kind of just seems like that wasn't a process that was done on the movie set. It just seems like, okay, guys, we have a gun here. The gun is cold. We're good. But in terms of what's going to happen with that gun, like whether or not there's going to be a hand on the trigger or whether or not the gun's going to be cocked, it seems like that wasn't something that was maybe discussed ahead of time with everyone. So that could have been the issue. Oh boy. And my mind definitely wandered a lot in that opening statement. Because I think the state opening statement, she was straight to the point. She went down in very good order. And anytime she brought up names, she would expand more on who these people were, what they did, what their roles were. With the defense opening statement, it was kind of just like, oh, he's just an actor. There's other people that are responsible, but actors are supposed to just be acting. He didn't know. He wasn't paying attention. He was only there for a couple of days. He wasn't there for a couple of months. He wasn't able to see all the small details and issues that were wrong with the set. He was just acting. I don't know. I just really wanted to hear from the defense saying that, Alec Baldwin did the safety stuff. He did the training sessions. He's been acting in movies for 40 years, and X amount of it was, him handling guns, and he's never had issues before. I don't know. It was just mostly just him repeating himself over and over and over again. And I think people were just starting to kind of just wander a little bit. Maybe that's the reason why he was playing videos and 911 calls, because he was hoping that would bring people in and have their attention. But I felt like I felt like it was unnecessary. Like the 911 call, I don't think we really need to listen to that. The lapel footages, I don't think we needed that as well. Alec Baldwin, when he was filming the movie scene, I don't think that we really needed that as well. So I think he really should just focus on the responsibility was with the armor, with the first AD. It was their fault. Alec Baldwin didn't know there was a live round, and that's about it. But, like I said, maybe the reason why the defense didn't bring up Alec Baldwin attending all these safety meetings and, reading the safety bulletin and all this stuff is because maybe he didn't do that, which is might not be a good look. Sorry, there's a fly in here. I need to kill him. I don't know. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to hear from the defense's opening statement? But it's still really early, but I still think them charging him with manslaughter, it seems like an overcharge to me. It seems like they wanted to make an example out of him because he was an actor. You're a famous person. We're in New Mexico. We're not going to let you get away with it. So I don't know. I just don't know. Because Hannah, for sure, I think manslaughter, yes. For sure, the armor. Alec Baldwin, not really quite sure. But, we'll see what happens with the trial. Maybe he went long because he wanted the jury to forget what they heard in the prosecution's opening statement. No, that wouldn't work. 911 was to plant the idea of accident versus the negligence. Because I think during the trial, they will get to hear the 911 call anyway. I don't know. I think opening statements, just keep it straight to the point, stick to the facts that help your client and not too much rambling, Don't loop yourself. The guy kept repeating himself, oh, Alec's just an actor. An actor's just an actor. He kept repeating that. It's just okay, we get it. I personally don't think Alec is responsible, but producer Alec is. He should have hired better. Well, the thing is, producer Alex wasn't responsible for hiring either. It seems like to me the role of the producer was just him just getting money and then providing money to, getting investments and, maybe using some of his own money to fund the movie project. Because there were, how many total producers were there? There was 6 or 7 producers, I think. If anything, oh shit, there he is. Come here. Kill this fly. Where'd he go? Yeah, I'm ready. Because I wonder if he even knew who Hannah Reid was. If he knew that Hannah Reid is someone that was inexperienced, that, she was a daughter of Stel Reid, who's been in the armor role for 50 plus years, and he's highly known. I just wonder if he even knew who Hannah Reid was. It was Gabrielle Pickle, I think, who's the line producer. I think she was the one that was in charge of hiring. Her, and then there was some other guy who was like involved in like the financing or something like that. And the pay, the expense. I think it was like them two that were more involved with who they were hiring and how much they were going to pay. Was it Gabrielle Pickle? Yeah, because I don't know if Alec was the one who was involved in hiring. But I mean, remember how we heard from other people, other witnesses in the Hannah Reid case, how hiring an armorer seems to be a very informal process. You kind of just get hired by word of mouth, right? There's no sort of like training or certification that you need to have. They hired her because she's the daughter of Stel Reid. He's like huge in the movie industry. He was an armorer on many movies for many years. Well, it was like 30, 40, 50 plus years. Get the Fly? I don't know where it went. It comes back. I'm definitely murdering the shit out of it. I didn't hear it's so violent when it comes to flies. Yes. Shiro doesn't like flies. It scares him. Okay, I'm just going to chill right here. But, you know, I think they have to go after Alec Baldwin. I think if New Mexico didn't go after Alec Baldwin, people would be like, oh, well, you know, Alec Baldwin's getting special treatment because he's an actor. He's the famous guy. So we'll see if he gets the conviction. I don't know. I have my doubts. Do you think the state would be more successful if they said that Alec Baldwin was pressuring Hannah and created the bad situation? Has he been the producer / boss? See, I don't know if he's really considered producer / boss. I feel like producer is just like a guy who just gets the funding. I don't know. I think if anything, people didn't respect or give him respect because he was, the producer. I think they gave him the respect and gave him the power because, this is Alec Baldwin. He's a seasoned actor. He's been acting for X amount of years. So I think if anything, I don't think anyone really cared that he was a producer. It was just Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin is the big time actor. You know, he's the lead actor. He's been in many movies. I think he's considered A-list. So I think that's the reason why people kind of just let Alec Baldwin do Alec Baldwin things, because he was that big time actor. So roles of an executive producer does all the hiring, scripting, casting. See, I don't know if he did all that. I don't know, because like it seems like sometimes when you have an actor and then you see in the movie credits they slap on like the producer name, it seems like, this person may have had a big role. I don't know. I think it could vary. I think it could vary from you had a small role as in getting the funding, or maybe you had a large role where you're doing other things where, the hiring, the scripting, all that. I don't know if he did all that. I'm not quite sure. Maybe. But, hello. She got a new haircut. Linda began rocking a new hair right there. He took shortcuts with the film. It just seems like it was just something that they just did in movie industries. Sometimes you have a really low budget that you're working with. And they had Hannah on there. And, nepotism. She wasn't just a daughter of nobody, right? She was the daughter of the Stel Reid. Wait, what is this? Should we watch this? What is this?
On that prop gun and believed it was cold, meaning that it wasn't in danger of firing a live bullet or anything else that would harm anyone. Back in March of this year, however, the movie set armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reid was found guilty. Yes, guilty of it.
Was that her during sentencing? Oh, God, Hannah Reid. Hi, Oni. How are you doing today? How's it going? You heard he chose New Mexico. Tax breaks would play a greater role for them just securing money for the film. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Is that Anjanette? Hey, Anjanette, looking good in polka dots. It was a pretrial order. They can't mention the producer, therefore responsible. Yep. I mean, honestly, I don't think the producer thing was a big deal to me, because I feel like him as an actor and his responsibilities as an actor already covered it. Like, you as an actor, you should be the one. Yeah, like, yes, there are people that does all the safety checks and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean you can just do whatever the fuck you want, right? You yourself have to follow safety protocols. And so the state has to show that, like, he didn't do that, right? But, I mean, I feel like whether or not an actor checks a gun, it's probably good practice to have the armorer go over to the actor and then check the gun together, right? And maybe from then on, it's up to the actor if he wants to take further steps to really check the gun. But, I mean, we've heard of other actors on the set who check their own guns. But, I mean, Alec Baldwin, you know, I think he just left it to the Dave Halls, the first AD, and the armorer. I know, right? Why does Freak Fish look like Rick from The Walking Dead? I know, it looks like that. That's what I was thinking, too. Have you seen Alec's face? He has a permanent mean look on his face. Makes him very unapproachable. I think, if anything, it's just more like he's a star actor. No one really wants to approach a star actor, right? Especially if they kind of look unfriendly. What about Split Focus 2 from Dual Roles? I honestly don't know that Alec Baldwin thinks much beyond Alec Baldwin, but a lot of people would have Split Focus if they had 2 major roles on set. Are you talking about Alec Baldwin or Hannah Reid? Hi, Iris. How are you doing today? Greetings, Captain. What is the latest development? We had opening statements for the Alec Baldwin trial. State, I think, did a really good job. Straight to the point, easy to follow. Defense, all over the place. My mind wandered, and I don't know. His opening statement wasn't the greatest. I think they should have let the other attorney talk. I feel like the other attorney was more charismatic. The bald-headed man. I think way more charismatic and easier to listen to. This guy was just all over the place. But, you know, opening statements are hard. It's hard to go up there and talk in front of everyone. You know how they do, oh gosh, what is it called again? When they play TV shows or advertisements and they get like a group of people to come in and kind of chime in on what they thought about that. What's it called again? A test group or something? A focus group. I feel like they should have done that for his opening statement. Like, okay, let's get like a bunch of people to listen to his opening statements, and then let's make notes on how many people, you know, minds wandered, how many people thought it was a good opening statement. I don't know. I feel like they should have done a focus group on that. Can you do that? And why not? Because you're technically doing this in front of like not just the people of the jury, but all the people that are sitting here watching the live stream. I don't know. That opening statement was a mess in my opinion. Both Hannah and Alec, I didn't understand why the judge didn't allow the producer ask her for the split focus argument as well. The judge thought it was irrelevant. The judge also said that the state had an expert who was going to talk about Alec's role as a producer. However, she didn't think that he was an expert in that because he himself has never been a producer, even though he has trained producers on like set safety and all that stuff. But he himself, since he wasn't a producer, she didn't see him as a producer expert. And so that's kind of why she nicked the producer argument for Alec Baldwin. But I mean, honestly, I don't think the producer thing really mattered anyways. I think him as an actor was more important. Because, you know, as an actor, you still got to follow safety guidelines, right? As an actor, people still saw him as the boss, I think, because he was a lead actor and he's an actor that everyone knew who the fuck he was. Does producer kind of outrank the gun person or no? So for the armorer, it's like armorer and then technically on the hierarchy, the prop master, but it seems like armor and prop master working side by side, and it seems like they were kind of like equals. Above them, I think is oh gosh, what was the hierarchy again? It was like armor, prop master. I think Gabriel Pickle was above them. Was it the line producer? There might have been one more person in between those two. But I mean, I think producer just sounds powerful, but I don't know what the exact hierarchy is. Hi, Wayne. How's it going? You know, the gun shoots blanks, that you should never point a gun at someone. That's what I was saying. I was like, you know, maybe they can get Alec Baldwin for not kind of following the directions, because it seems like the shot that they were doing, and I think the state did a really good job at describing this. She said it was supposed to be a block shot, meaning you want to kind of have like the fine details of how that gun is pulled out of the holster, not necessarily shooting the scene, where it's like you pull the gun out and then you cock it, shoot it, whatever, right? It seems like they just wanted to make sure they got the shot of him pulling it out. Now, it seems like it wasn't discussed that, hey, Alec, we want you to put your hand, your finger on the trigger, or we want you to cock the gun. It seems like that part right there wasn't discussed, but I think Alec Baldwin was probably doing that because he was kind of like in the acting role, right? He was in the acting mindset. So he might have, instead of like, being told directly what to do with the gun, he kind of wanted to flare it up a little bit. So that's the part where I'm kind of like iffy about, I guess. Because I feel like, if you are going to handle a gun on the set, everyone should know what the expectations are, right? What is the actor going to do with the gun? Which way is going to be pointing? What's inside the gun, right? Are we going to cock the gun? Are we going to put the finger on the trigger? I feel like that should be announced to everyone, and everyone should know what's going on with that. But I don't know. Maybe on movie sets, maybe that doesn't really happen. Maybe actors just kind of like are in that actor mindset, and they're so immersed into the role that maybe they kind of just play it up a little bit. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But yeah. If the actors check the gun after armor, they say the actor messes with the gun, loses the situation. Because I think that like if I was the armorer, I would not want the actor to fuck with my gun also. So if I was an armorer, I know what I'm doing. I check the gun, and the actor took it and manipulated it further. I'd be like, whoa, what are you doing? I already checked it. I think it would be good practice to actor and armorer check the gun together, but let the armorer handle it and manipulate it and stuff like that. Don't let the actor just take the gun. Because I think I heard there was an actor that did his own gun check, maybe because he didn't trust Hannah, or maybe because it's something that he just does normally, where he took the gun from Hannah and then he shot it into the ground like 6 times to make sure that it was good. So I've worked on sets before. Hi, Nikki B. How are you doing today? Actors are explicitly told to check the gun, even if they saw the armor check it in front of their faces. Prop gun 101. But how does the actor check the gun? Is it kind of like what I explained, where you would take the gun and you would shoot it 6 times into the ground, or would you open it up and double check and like shake the rounds itself? Armors would not be oh yeah, I want to know about the offended thing. So I think who said that? Was it the state? I think the state said that the reason why Alec Baldwin didn't want to check the gun is because he didn't want to offend the armorer. And I'm like, well, was that written in an email or something? Did Baldwin say that in her interview? Where did we hear that? Or are those witness statements? So I want to know, because that never really popped up before. I never heard of that. He said he didn't pull the trigger. No, liar, liar. Yeah, that's the reason why they are going in on the guy who made the gun, the manufacturer from Pieta. The reason why we're going to have gun experts up there, because I think Alec Baldwin said that he didn't pull the trigger, or maybe it was manipulated in some way. Maybe it malfunctioned. So that was one of the things that the defense brought up. And that's the reason why the state has all these experts, because they're going to what I'm looking for, rebuff that. Rebuff. Yeah, maybe. Dismiss, repulse, rejection, rebuff. I feel like whoever bought the real bullet might have some blame. No. Yeah. I mean, she's already doing 18 months. 18 months. I don't know if I got him or not. I don't think I got him. I swung in his direction and he starts spiraling in the air. So I don't know if I maybe got his wing and zapped some of it. But he comes back. Dead. Who's the monotone Dr. YouTube guy? He has the best synopsis, but he's so boring. What? Who? The YouTube? Does he do true crime stuff? Haven't we already established that Hannah's responsible for the real bullet? Yeah. Yep. I mean, I know during Hannah's trial, there was contention on whether or not it was Seth Kenny who provided the real bullet or if it was Hannah. But, I mean, it seems like it was Hannah. This is just your boring opinion. They check the barrel, never point it, and never keep their finger on the trigger. Yeah, because I feel like, if you're going to have a gun on the set, everyone needs to know exactly how that gun is going to be handled by the actor. Why charge Baldwin? Hi, She-Bro. How are you doing today? Don't come in here. There's a fly in here. Why charge Baldwin? Like I said, I think it's just because New Mexico, I just think that they don't want people to think that we don't go after famous people. We don't go after actors. Baldwin was the one who fired the gun. The bullet came out from the gun that he was using. So I think they're going after him, maybe to set an example. And then whether or not he gets charged, we'll see. Because I think I don't know. To me, it does seem like an overreach to go after him for manslaughter. The negligence I could see possibly. Dr. Todd Grad. I love Dr. Todd Grad. Him and his funny dad jokes. Because I think it seems like, he was negligent in how he handled the gun. But I don't know. We'll see on the manslaughter. We will see. Carrie Morrissey, hello. Hey, Dragon. How you doing today? How's it going? Like, I was completely on board with the armorer being charged with manslaughter. 18 months, I think, was too little. But her, for sure. Him, I'm like, we'll see. Yeah, like the safety meetings and all that stuff. I want to hear more about that. Opening statements for the state. She briefly mentioned that, saying that they were supposed to have a safety meeting, but instead they had shots of him firing the gun. Tell Cher to get the fly. He's scared of flies. I don't know. He starts shaking when the flies are near him. I got so many dad jokes. Baldwin trying so hard to resist. Do it. Do the dad jokes. If you're negligent driving a car and kill someone, it's manslaughter. Your dog chases flies. Cheryl doesn't mind eating bees, but when it comes to flies, he won't fuck with them. Have you ever heard a toy called Bug Assault? It's changed my life. No, I have not. Oh, you mean, I think that's too misty. You mean like the gun that fires, it's like a salt gun, right? It fires, like you load it up with salt and then it kills a fly. It's too messy. You have like salt everywhere. I just have the electric tennis racket thing. If you vacuum once a month, you good? That's good tech. I don't know, it just seems too messy. I've seen it on YouTube before. The tennis racket zapper for flies? Yes, that's what I have. The electric tennis racket, solid. Yep. I love it. Or if you don't have one, get a wet rag. Get a rag, wet it up a little bit, squeeze out some excess water, and you can just smack the crap out of them. Manslaughter is not an overcharge at all. You can't make a movie where the actor never puts their finger on the trigger. That's ridiculous. Even if he went through all the meetings, followed the rules, behaved like a nun, he could have not known there was a real bullet in the gun or even in the set. Is that a football game? No worries. No flies, no demons. I don't think I've ever killed a fly with my bare hands. The fast flies, no. Mosquitoes and like the small little ones, yes. They're slow. But the big flies, they're too fast. I can't get them. Baldwin's next TV show will be the game show Blankety Blank, OMF. Someone said that he has a TV show, a live reality TV show. I guess it's going to be like the Kardashians on TLC. I don't know, man. Shows on TLC are interesting. Kiki says negligence sounds more realistic, but I think negligence is also far-fetched. I feel like Baldwin talks in his own sounding voice in his head. Even if he checked the gun, would he have known it was a dummy round? I think the protocol, or good protocol, would have been, so they checked the gun with the first AD, right? And then when you go to check the gun with the enactor, I mean, good protocol would probably be to open the gun and maybe have other people who are going to be within that area open the gun up and then taking each of the, the ammo and shaking it for everyone. because had they shook it, they would realize that some of them had little beads inside and made noise. And maybe the one didn't make a noise. And then from then on, check to see if there's like, I guess, like the hole in the back, right? So I feel like that would have been good practice. I'm not really quite sure why it wasn't done here. It seems like Hannah, what she would do is she would take she would take like multiple animals in her hand and then shake it, or like shake the box or something. It's like, why would you do that? You should be shaking individually, all of them, just to make sure. But I mean, no one knew that there was going to be a live round on the set, right? Why isn't the armor? Sure it is. They already, she's already had her trial, and she's already had a conviction. She's serving 18 months, Iris. Yeah, that's Hannah Reed. And we'll see if she's going to testify in this trial or not. Everyone here knows more about blanks, dummies, and lives than Hannah. I don't know. I think, I don't know. It's weird. Hannah's a weird one. Because you would think that when you're so new to this industry, well, I guess for her, you know, she's always been around it because of her dad. So maybe she was just really cocky. Didn't really take her job seriously. Just seems like maybe just like a really laid back person. I don't know. I feel like I would be so paranoid. What? She should have gotten more. Yeah, she's got 18 months. I mean, Baldwin is also facing 18 months as well. You think she should have gotten 5 years minimum? I mean, who knows if she even served the full 18 months, right? Maybe she'll get released. I think like 12 months in, they can review to see if she can get out on probation, maybe. I think if I remember that. Dummy rounds have a different color. It would be easy to tell. Yeah, it seems like the checks would have been so simple and easy. Like, I think even when she checked with Dave Halls, I think they checked some of the ammo, not even all of it. It's like, why skip these steps? Why not just do things thoroughly? Are they gonna have an armor certification? I don't know. I mean, it seems like usually when they hire an armorer, it's someone that has like extensive background. Someone who, you know, is a gun expert, handles guns, or maybe someone that's like in law enforcement or something like that. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately with Hannah, I mean, she got hired because of nepotism, you know, because her dad's been in the industry for so long. And they just assumed that she would just be just as good. Dave Halls, he took a plea deal. Dave Halls took a plea deal for a misdemeanor charge. 6 months probation, I think. 6 months probation, community service, and someone said $500 fine. Hannah already tried to get released because her modeling career needs her. That's true. Not someone who just got fired from Hot Topic. Hey, I like Hot Topic, okay? Hot Topic was my middle school, high school days. Not quite sure. I'm not sure why we wouldn't hear from the lead detective or the sergeant and whoever other law enforcement that was mentioned. Not quite sure. Rain. Dave Hall took plea deal. 5 months. I thought it was 6 months probation. $500 fine, community service, mandatory armed weapon course. You think Dave Halls is retired? Carrie's ready to go. Carrie, we missed you. We were stuck with Lolly for like 8 to 9 weeks. Oh, gosh. You wonder if Adam Baldwin will support Alec. Rumor has it they both had a bit of a family feud over politics, Adam being the complete opposite on the political spectrum. I don't know anything about the Baldwin family. I learned today that Stephen Baldwin is Hailey Bieber's daddy and Justin Bieber's dad-in-law. No, I don't think so. I don't think. don't think the defense was that bad. Okay. He was meandering a little bit in his opening statement, but I think he just, I don't know. I think he just didn't want to give a short opening statement because he thought maybe that would look bad. So he kind of just added a lot of fluff in there that we didn't need. Spencer's. Oh, fuck Spencer's. Spencer's so expensive. I hated Spencer's. I wanted to decorate my room in the cool glow in the dark lava lamps, you know, the electric orb thing that they had. I don't know. Spencer's just so expensive. If you had to set the over under for guilty, not guilty, what odds would you give? I don't know. Not too sure. I am not too sure. You probably bought a maid costume for yourself, Joe. Why maid costume? That's so specific. Are you projecting here? Should we take a little break? I forgot to take a break. Maybe I'll get up and stretch. Oh. You don't wear costumes, so that's because you are a costume. Ha 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 ha. Oh, that's right. You guys said Adam is from... Wait, is Adam's from Beetlejuice? Which one? Oh! Wait. Wait, I thought Beetlejuice is Alec Baldwin. Not Adam. Wait, who the fuck is Adam then? Yeah, I thought Beetlejuice was Alec Baldwin. Billy Baldwin's married to Danny Masterson's wife's sister. Oh, he was there supporting Danny. Yeah, Michael Keaton is OG Beetlejuice, right? Jury's coming back in. They're standing. Holy shit. Baldwin was the dad of the dead couple. Yeah, I didn't know that was Alec Baldwin. You guys told me that a couple months ago. All right. I don't know if I'm going to listen to this entire trial day. I just want to listen to opening statements, but we'll stick around for a bit. Yeah, Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice. The ghost? I think the name of the character Adam is the ghost, but that's played by Alec Baldwin. Miss Dago wants to go for a walk. Oh. Who's this? They look like they're in law enforcement. Don't forget to sub to Corey before tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Yeah, Alec plays Adam. The poor dude looks frightened. Alex should have dressed as Trump for the trial. No, not the fake tan and the hair. Oh, the price. Yeah, I think they're increasing the subs, right? Which I find very surprising. I thought Twitch was dying. Are they not dying? I thought they were dying. And so I'm like, you guys are going to increase the subs. Like, are people going to be, people are going to be subbing? Yeah, I think it used to be $4.99, right? Are they going to do $5.99 or something like that? Okay, oh, whoops.
County Sheriff's Department.
And how long did you work at the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department?
I was muted, I'm sorry.
About 2 years.
And were you on duty on October 21st of 2021?
Yes.
Did you receive a dispatch call?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you received and what you did?
A call came in that there was someone shot at a movie set. Unclear who shot, how many were shot. I happened to be the closest person to the call, and arrived on scene first.
So when you arrived on scene, when you say first, were there other law enforcement officers there?
No, not at the time when I got there.
Were there any other first responders present?
There was some fire personnel and what they call the scene medic for the movie set, I guess.
You said a scene medic?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you, let me ask you, when you receive a call for a shooting, what's your primary concern?
Priority of life.
And what do you
And
mean
to
when you say priority life?
Make sure whoever needs help gets help and that the threat is stopped.
He's shedding a lot right now.
When you arrived on the scene, and where was it?
Bonanza Creek movie set, I guess. It's quite a ways off the interstate.
Okay. And what county and state is that in?
Santa Fe County, state of Mexico.
Okay. So when you arrived there, give us an idea of what you saw. What was going on?
It was a big, old, like cowboy western themed, like city or a town.
Sure,
There's a bunch of people running everywhere, bunch of cars, bunch of people pointing. When I got there, people were pointing towards a church, and I got out. I attempted to grab my medical bag and went in and saw.
Hang on, I'm gonna stop you there. Approximately how many people were there on scene?
I don't have the direct number, but there was more than 100 people.
Have you ever been called to a shooting where there were 100 people already on scene?
No.
Did that present any specific challenges for you?
Yes.
Explain to us what those challenges were.
Just there's a lot of moving parts. Just gotta take it one piece at a time. See who's hurt. Make sure that one, that nobody's continually getting hurt, and then two, the person who's hurt, medical attention is being given to them, and then go from there.
Okay. And when you arrived on scene that day, were you running your body-worn camera?
Yes.
The state moves for the admission of State's Exhibit 4.
No further objections, Your Honor.
Yeah, I missed her pink and green glasses.
I want to just make sure I'm connected. I'm ready to play it. Permission to publish?
Was you going to recognize it first, or are you satisfied with the foundation?
Yes, Your Honor. We've consented to both lapel videos today.
That's fine. Okay. So you may publish. This is States 1?
4.
States 4.
How do I get the monitors to come on?
Ryan's going to do it.
Okay.
I thought YouTube knew how to get around those ad blockers.
Do you know how to do it? Go ahead and do it.
But with the ads on YouTube, it plays for a couple seconds, right? You can just skip it. Ew, no, Popeye's red beans and rice. Ugh. I missed the Cajun rice. I need to bring that back. Oh, the ads on mobile. Boo.
Hold on, his monitor's not on. Are your monitors on? Yes.
This one's not.
We'll turn it on.
It's on, but it's green light.
Tech support, we need your help. Turn on the monitor, please. Also, is police officer wearing gloves? Oh, interesting.
Redo it from here while he's looking. Or do you want?
Sure, the monitor won't just come on?
He's got to get the adapter. Go get the adapter. All right.
Okay. Officer LaFleur, do you want to turn around and just look at the monitor on the wall behind you?
It doesn't matter, man.
Okay, let's do that.
get your atomic kit? Yeah, I'm trying to get it out. Stupid new truck. Are we inside with the BVMs?
Officer LaFleur, tell us what's going on in the video right now.
I'm looking for my other medic bag. I handed the individual a trauma pack for shooting, and I'm attempting to open one of the storage boxes in the back of the truck.
Who was the individual that you handed something to?
I believe it was a fire personnel that I followed in.
You missed nothing.
A volunteer firefighter, maybe.
And I thought I heard the word, is it BVM?
It's for CPR. It's a bag valve mask.
Valve mask.
BVM.
Okay, thank you.
No, not the BBL.
We need where you at? A seal. You have a seal? A seal? A seal. I got a sterile glove and a vacuum gloves. Okay.
Are you over there?
Over there?
Yep. My hand is on it. Talking?
Dude, the poor witness, he has to like turn and crane his neck up. Oh my God, that's a huge no-no for me. I hope they get him that adapter.
Who she shot at? She came in here and went across her chest. And came out the back and went into the head. You want air flight? Yeah, we all went in round. Okay.
And what are you talking about there when you say air flight?
Helicopter that's designed to transport people that need advanced treatment faster than an ambulance. It's a helicopter that air paramedics basically.
Did you call for the helicopter, or did someone else do that? Do you know?
That individual said that they had already called one, but I called one for as well.
You called also?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you feel that it was necessary to have a helicopter arrive?
Someone who was shot across the chest. We're quite a ways out for an ambulance in reference to where the hospital is. So.
And when you say you were quite a ways out, how far away is Bonanza Creek?
From a hospital?
Sure.
Running lights and sirens, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or more.
Okay.
Santa Fe, one female shot in the chest, male shot in the stomach, requesting air flight.
Dave Hall's, I think, right there.
I heard you there say male shot in the stomach. Is that what you said?
I'm not sure. I didn't really hear it.
Well, as you sit here today, do you recall where the other person was shot?
Somewhere in the chest.
Okay.
Or shoulder area.
Thank you.
GPS? GPS forward.
It's okay.
I got you right here.
2432, how many people yell out there?
32, I got just Santa Fe medics.
In your video, sir, can you identify who the set medic is?
It's a little blurry, but I believe it's this lady, right?
The bangs, I think.
The one that's bent over with her blondish brown hair.
Is the monitor working now?
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, Joe.
You didn't realize how conscious that she was conscious and moving?
This monitor's working now.
She had a hard time.
Do you know how to touch it to put it? There you go. Thank you. I
She had a hard
appreciate
time
you.
breathing. She was like struggling.
You can go ahead and remove that.
Oh, I don't know how to remove it.
Can you show them how to remove it?
Oh, push on the menu button.
The medic would have been right here.
Okay.
I think.
And if it's in the way, just push menu.
We saw her testify in the other trial.
Do you know who these other people are that are in the room?
No, I know that that person, and somebody over here, the battalion chief, they were wearing Santa Fe county fire medic shirts. So, and they came in the vehicle in front of me.
You don't know who the other people are that are in the room?
I know the other person shot, and then Elena Hutchins, or I maybe misspelled her name or pronounced it, and then the other assistant director, and that's about it.
Okay. And you mentioned that there was a truck pulling in ahead of you.
It was a volunteer firefighter truck.
So did the first responders that we see here in this scene, did they arrive about the same time you did?
Yes.
Both approximately 140 pounds, elderly male and young female. What do you need me? No.
Yeah, you can hear Joel.
You want a BBM?
Hell yeah, please.
He's good. He's got a broken shoulder. This is how repeat your information. Find her out? Yeah, she'll be all right.
Officer LaFleur, tell us what you're doing now and why.
I looked over and I seen that they were getting the oxygen tank out. Noticed that they were using not a bag valve mask, which was more appropriate for that situation than the one that goes around their face. I'm just helping them, doing as much as I can to help.
So give us a little bit more information. What causes you to believe that the bag valve mask is...
What happened here? Iris, who are you talking to?
If the oxygen were run out or they had to use manual breaths, they could use the bag. The other one is just something that's over their face.
Okay. And what made you think that the bag valve mask was more appropriate?
Nothing really. I just believe that's more, I don't know.
Officer LaFleur, are you trained in life-saving measures?
To an extent, yes.
Okay. Was it anything about your training that caused you to think that that would be more appropriate?
It's just what we've been trained with versus the one that was already on her.
Okay.
Gabby, can you just make sure nobody else comes in?
Yeah, we got air.
Do you have ears, ma'am? Do you have stethoscope? Yes, they're in that bag. Right there at the top. Purple? Nope, at the top. Helena.
Is anybody allowed to go with her in the helicopter? No.
Helena, deep breath. Deep breath, Helena. There you go. Deep breath. Deep breath, Helena. Deep breath. Be okay. Good girl. There you go. Good girl. Deep breath. Entrance is here. Exit back here.
Do you guys
Jesus, what's going on here?
No.
Do you guys need?
I just need Something for, I'll take a big one. This one? This one? This one? No. iPad, you have an iPad?
Underneath the left shoulder blade, the top area coming through.
You got a stretcher? Not me here, no.
Okay.
Okay, so the live stream is poor quality. I was just checking to see if it was just me or if it's on Lone Crime.
Let me help you get the stretcher.
What are you doing now?
Just trying to stay busy, help clear the way for the stretcher. The ambulance is here.
Thank you.
Here's priority number one. Okay. Let's start clearing all this out of this. We get it right in here and get it out. All right. We got air flight en route.
Not for me here. We can get to you. Helena?
This is Helena Hutchinson.
I got the air.
Thank you. On the slide, did you get all that out? I'm not behind you guys. All right, so we're gonna need to get her going right away. Roger, copy.
Officer LaFleur, have additional first responders now arrived?
Yes.
Can you give us an idea of who's on set assisting now?
So it looks like more paramedics have arrived, and Lieutenant Benavides is right there.
Okay, and do you mean this gentleman here?
Yes, ma'am.
That my cursor's on? And who was Lieutenant Benavides?
He was our day shift lieutenant at the time.
Was he a supervisor?
Yes, ma'am.
We got a through and through on her. We went through and through on her, through the chest, and then you got one in the arm over there.
Everybody stops what they're doing right now. This is a crime scene. Okay, everybody stop.
Whose voice is that we're hearing?
Lieutenant Benavides.
Okay, roll it back. Roll over to the other side. Underneath, pull. Really good. Let's strap it down and let's get going back. Okay? You keep your eyes on me. Keep Where's the Cubs guard? See the Cubs guard? You know where they're going to find out? Yeah, go what side? Just our cover. All right, we got some stairs, guys. Go stairs on the first step.
So what is your understanding about where Ms. Hutchins is being taken now?
Into the back of the ambulance.
And can you explain why is she going into the back of an ambulance rather than the helicopter?
The helicopter hasn't arrived yet, and my understanding is that they have additional medicines and equipment and measures they can take inside of an ambulance.
All right, thank you.
Disconnect there. You got it? Hey, take over that. You guys want to see Vincent? 32 Santa Fe, what's ETA on the bird?
What did you just say?
I asked the ETA on the helicopter.
And who are you speaking to?
Santa Fe Dispatch.
Do you recall how they responded?
It's been a minute since I watched this video, so.
All right.
the bird right here.
Is the helicopter now arriving?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you doing now?
Appears I'm grabbing crime scene tape.
Why are you grabbing crime scene tape?
To start the crime scene. I don't know if anybody had told me to grab the tape yet, but I knew we needed to start one. So.
You felt that you needed to put up crime scene tape.
Yes, ma'am. Or somebody may have asked for it.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Or somebody may have asked me for it. I'm just not too sure.
Okay. And what's crime scene tape used for?
To mark the perimeter or the inner perimeter of essentially a crime scene which they want to tape off and only allow certain people in and out.
Okay. And was that an issue in this scene?
The crime scene?
Well, cordoning off the crime scene, was that an issue here?
Yeah, it was a unique situation because of the you can't really tie crime scene tape to nothing. So I think at one point they actually used our patrol units as to tie the tape around and go to the next one.
And why is it important to cordon that off?
Just for evidence purposes, and allow only certain people in and out, because at this point we didn't know what was going on. So.
And were there people in that area that were not first responders?
Yes.
Approximately how many, if you recall?
I don't know. I couldn't give you a number really. There was just a lot of people on the outside that I hadn't seen originally inside the church. So.
Okay, and did you know who those people were?
No.
Okay. Do you see this person here in the gray shirt?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that a first responder?
No.
So when the crime scene tape goes up, what happens to that person?
I can't recall.
Well,
I haven't watched the video yet.
Hypothetically, is that person allowed to stay inside the crime scene?
No.
Okay. Who are the people that are allowed to stay inside the tape?
Medical and for first responders.
Okay.
What do you need, Chief? Radio in for my command for somebody.
I tell you guys, this was in the middle of a shot, and I have live ordnance on the ceiling up there. It's safe.
Okay.
But it is here, right above here.
Okay.
Right there, that's...
Okay.
And if you get to the point where you say you want me to move,
all right.
I'll haul my guys in.
Okay.
Where's the bird?
It's right here. Okay.
You see the helicopter back there? Oh, I see it.
What are you doing now?
I talked with the paramedics inside the ambulance, and they asked me where the helicopter was. I told them it was landing, and he asked them to bring the paramedics to them.
So you're bringing the paramedic from the helicopter to the ambulance?
Yes.
All right.
approximately 23-year-old female in the back of the ambulance right now. Gunshot underneath the right arm. Went through all the way to the back left. Can you carry this back for you, sir? I got it. You got it?
And the sad part is, if I remember correctly, I don't think they were able to fly out right away because they had a hard time stabilizing her.
This one's priority. Hey guys.
Guys, just get a couple IDs. They're not sure whether they're IOs or not.
Grab the IOs up.
Can you open your eyes for me?
Yep.
See ya, Kiki.
Yeah, so work on the IO and then come around. That's it. Here, if I could just have you guys just step over there for us, okay? Can I have you guys get over there for us? We're going to have to gather everybody up, get everybody's names, everybody who's on scene, okay?
What are you doing now?
Just trying to think what's next. I think I'm putting the pilot, one of the pilot's headgear inside the ambulance on the other side of the door.
Why are you telling those people to move?
Just to start to gather people up because they're just standing around the church where the said incident happened.
Why didn't you do that when you initially got there?
Just went in and made sure that medical that people were receiving medical treatment, and then slowly go with the flow, see what it could do next.
Are you trained to take action to save lives before moving witnesses around?
Yes, ma'am.
How's it going, sir? I believe you guys will be taking this one.
In the bird then? Did she go in the bird?
No, not yet. They did an IVs, get an IO, and then they're going to take in the bird.
They're coming out, watch yourself.
They're moving it from this one?
Yeah. Yeah.
A couple of them still.
Is that your stuff? And whose jack is that? Joel's? Okay.
Did Joel run in the helicopter too? No, right? I don't think so.
It's got his phone, it's got his other stuff in it.
Okay, well, we're going to just keep it here. So,
Even his phone?
Officer LaFleur, this woman who's speaking right now, she's not a police officer, right?
No.
Was she employed with the fire department?
No, she was their set medic, I'm guessing.
When you say set medic, do you mean she's the medic on the movie set?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he was wearing it. Why? Where's his phone at?
I don't know.
Do you have any idea why movie sets would have medical personnel on scene?
It's probably for safety reasons. Someone closer than the paramedics or fire department.
For safety reasons?
Yeah.
Phone.
Anybody have Joel's phone? Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah, how can we help you? I just need your IDs, and then have you guys step outside and wait for the investigators to get here. Okay? Okay, cool.
Any idea who these guys are?
Just more people involved with the movie set.
Movie set employees?
Yeah.
Is that your impression?
Yes, ma'am.
And who's the props guy? Who's in charge of props?
She has green and purple hair. You can't miss her.
Okay.
I was here when it happened.
You were here when it happened?
Yes, sir.
Who else was here when it happened?
My back was surged. The camera operator.
How many people you think were in here when it happened?
3, maybe 4.
4?
Maybe.
Okay. So 2 more other than you two?
Reed, as soon as I see him, Reed, camera operator. Reed, yes, sir.
Okay, who else?
Reed Russell was here. Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin was the actor on set that pulled the trigger.
Alec Baldwin?
Yes, sir.
Where's he at? Yeah, you help me find him?
Yes, sir. Baldwin's right there on the cell phone with the cowboy hat.
Okay.
Is that Baldwin right there? I think so.
How's it going, sir? So my understanding, you were in the room when someone was shot?
Holding the gun, yeah.
Okay, alrighty.
What do you need?
Well, I know your name, so
Pursuant to the stipulation, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead. Very good. I want to make sure this is the right part. Okay.
I'm gonna get with my lieutenant and see where we want you to hang out. Okay?
Whatever you want to do.
Yes, sir. All right. Give me just a second. LT.
So apparently I was not given the appropriate reaction.
Hey Mel, how's it going? How are you?
5 seconds now. What?
What does that mean? Switched
I
on?
need to know what to do, or I just press play. What do I do?
You want to pull the trigger? Do you want me to have him sit tight or?
Yeah, you're gonna have to sit tight.
Sit tight in the unit?
I have the armor in here. This is all their stuff. I have the gun used is in there.
And I got the 2 people that were in the room.
Okay.
You want me to have Alec Baldwin take a seat in the back of my unit or?
No, we know where he's at. We know who he is.
Yeah.
We just need to say, is he in a trailer?
No, he's right there in the gray and black.
Okay. All right. So try to keep him away from everybody.
Okay.
Have him talk to anybody.
Okay. I can just have him sit. I can sit with him in my unit.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Officer LaFleur, at this point in time, what's your intention?
I was going to go back to where Mr. Baldwin was and then escort him to my unit. When I got there, I realized my unit is over here being used as a post for the crime scene.
So what did you do when you realized that?
Just had him sit where he was and had everybody just hang out there.
Oh, you're talking about the witness. Okay, in the body cam. I thought you meant Baldwin. I was a little confused for a second there. Got it.
Started writing down people's names.
Okay.
Earplugs, everything.
All right.
What are these people doing?
Seems like they're talking about what happened.
Now, as a law enforcement
So he says he handed me an empty gun.
officer, is that something that concerns you?
Yes.
And why? Why does that concern you?
They could be, one person could be telling them what they saw and mess up what they have to say what they saw. So it could essentially
Influence each other's statements, memories, taint.
coerce testimony, I guess. People would say the same thing because the other person said it, rather than saying their own opinion or own view of what they saw.
Okay.
Mr. Baldwin, who's the director on scene?
The guy that was shot.
The guy that was shot? Okay.
Where is he now? I think he's in the ambulance.
Do you guys have a production car? Or?
There's an AD. His name is Dave. I'm waiting for you right now. Okay. I'm happy to stay right here and do everything that he's doing.
Well, my lieutenant just wants you to stay away from everybody and not to talk to nobody. So I was.
Wait right here.
We can wait right here and have everybody step back, or we can wait in the back from a patrol unit, but I prefer to not put you there, okay?
Alex, you want something? You want water or something now? I want to find props to get a cigarette.
So, why did you let Mr. Baldwin sit there instead of putting him in some vehicle and separating him from the other witnesses?
Like I said, my unit was clear across being used as a post, and just because I didn't know what we had right there, came to maintain cooperation with people involved.
Well, it sounds like you gave him an option. You let him choose, is that right?
Hey, Yoshi.
Yeah, he wanted to stay right there, and I figured if I could keep him there, I didn't see a big problem with it until later on when people were talking and whatnot.
And did you give Mr. Baldwin instructions about whether or not he could speak to people?
I did tell him to stop talking.
And did you give instructions to the other witnesses that were around?
I didn't tell them, but I told them that he had to sit there and not talk to nobody.
Okay.
I got one. What do you got? You got medium? Marble? Take it.
Sure you don't want a cigar?
Hands are shaking. Try
Yes, sir.
Right, I'm right there. The silver car is Alec's vehicle. You want to put him in there?
Mr. Baldwin, is that your car?
Yeah.
We can wait in there.
You want me to stay here?
We can wait in your car if you want to.
I can't smoke in the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can wait. Hang out right here then.
Is Joe gone? They both gone?
Well, they're still working on the female. If you haven't seen the helicopter take off, then they're not gone yet.
If you know, Officer LaFleur, why hadn't the helicopter taken off yet?
I don't know exactly why, but my guess is they have to stabilize the patient before they can put him in the air.
In the air, okay.
I thought you can't say my guess. But the defense didn't object, so it's not a big deal.
Why are you just standing there?
Just standing with Mr. Baldwin, allowing him to smoke a cigarette, making
And
sure.
why is it important for you to be standing there?
Essentially, he's detained, not free to leave, so I'm there with him.
That one right there? Got the white hair.
In front of that sheriff's car with the gray hair kind of in the
Okay.
shirt.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, I got an officer over here by now.
Why do you have these two gentlemen standing over there that we can see? What is there something important about them?
The guy in the gray I had him stand over there because he was inside the room when I had first got at the church, and the other guy in the brown apparently was in the church too. So I just wanted everybody who was in the church in one area so we could easily be found.
So you wanted everyone that was in the church in one area.
Yes, ma'am.
And are we looking at that area?
To the left of Baldwin is where the majority of everybody was, yes.
Okay. And those were the witnesses that were in the church?
From what I was told, yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Baldwin, how many people were in the room when it happened?
Just crew. You've got some people, a lot of crews outside, inside that building.
Okay.
He's the one that knows what was going on. He's asking how many people were in the room at the time.
How's it going, sir? Deputy LaFleur. How many people were in the room at the time? 6?
Officer LaFleur, who's this gentleman who's speaking now in the blue jean shirt?
From what I was told, he was one of the other directors.
Oh God, this audio. Please fix it.
6 or 7? I need a definite answer. I don't know. Okay. So I got one here, the 2 that were injured. That makes 3, and then these 2 gentlemen, 4, 5. So who would be the other 2? Yeah, that was
The camera grip.
more than 6. Okay. Were you in the room?
I was at the door.
You were at the door? Can I get your ID?
Do you know whether or not the person in the jean shirt was inside the church and witnessed the incident?
I do not know.
Okay, why don't you come on over to the back of the script? I have 3 IDs for request.
She's really just yelling at everybody and screaming at the church. Oh, he was inside.
Does it appear to you that Mr. Baldwin is speaking to the other witnesses?
I think he was talking about who would know who's in the room.
Okay.
I can't really hear it. And then apparently the guy's son was working there as well.
Okay. Is this an ideal way to separate someone from witnesses?
After looking at it, probably not, but that's what happened.
Okay. Understood.
You're right at the door? Do you have an ID on you, sir? As of right now, her status is questionable. That's why we called the air light. Where were you at, sir?
I was right behind him.
Right behind him? Okay.
Yeah, I was right behind him right when it happened.
All right. So just have you guys hang out for me right here. We'll get someone to get your statement in just a second, okay?
And then they cleared the gun outside after, on his request, and I witnessed them clear it and saw the bullets.
Okay. So
one was the one that was missing, the one that was fired, we don't know, but all the other ones were proper. They had loads.
Officer LaFleur, does it seem to you right now that they're talking about the incident?
It seems like they're talking about the gun that was used in the incident.
All right.
They were quarter load blanks. They had loads.
Officer, do you know what this conversation is about that we're watching right here?
The shake test?
Something about a shake test. I don't know. Maybe the rounds, dummy rounds, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not too entirely sure.
Do you agree with me that, well, was Mr. Baldwin supposed to be talking about the incident?
No, ma'am.
Does he appear to be doing it anyway?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, but see, when we're rehearsing, you give me the empty gun. We don't need to be able to load. It's hot until we're ready to shoot. So we put the earplugs in. Don't it? No, I'm not worried about her. Yeah, well, me as well, but what's your situation? She's stable now, I think. Get her in the air, get the back, hand in the shoulder. The head, where both of them took it in the shoulder.
I think I heard Baldwin say that you gave me an empty gun and something about earplugs. So is he trying to say that, like, if he knew that there was something inside of it, everyone would be wearing earplugs because if it went off, it would have been really loud?
Hers came out the other shoulder, which is why it's not loaded. His, the shoulder blade stopped it. So shattered. There's basically a rotting. It's a blank, but because I think it was based on the sound of how much ringing I had, I think it was a half.
Officer, are they still talking about the incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a reason that you didn't stop them since you told them not to?
I think as time goes on, I tell them to stop.
A bit of water. And that's it.
Okay.
The barrels. So who knows what else is in the room? My other hand.
You were in the room?
Effects crew.
Okay. Get your ID, sir.
That's what I said. I think there was more than 6 or 7 guys. I think it was about 8.
You see this gentleman over here on the left?
Yes, ma'am.
Any reason to believe he was inside the room at the time?
I'm not sure at this point.
Okay.
Were you in the room too, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone's just trying to get a sense of what the fuck just happened.
She was breathing. She had a clear lungs. And that means enough for me.
But he potentially has got hair in his right. It's not spectacular.
Where did it go down to medical bills?
He took it to the right shoulder. His right shoulder blade stopped it, but they're hearing stuff in his head.
And where did she went after that?
Did they take him as he got? As soon as they were allowed to. So they'll stabilize both. And then once the sheriff says you're good to go, they'll let them go.
She's going to you.
So she basically they're trying to stabilize her vital signs enough for the flight and administer any kind of narcotics or anything they need. Blood thinners, that may be. Then they'll load her up in the helicopter and they'll fly her there. I believe the other ambulance is on the other side, and he seems to be doing better than she was, so they might drive him in an ambulance.
I heard him wave off the other bird, so.
And where did it get her? He went after the guy who took her, right?
Both of them took it in the shoulder.
Dave is like upset, crying maybe.
He just went over.
Yeah,
I ran out.
came back in the fuse and I was helping him. I didn't see nothing. I was asking if he was all right. He couldn't hear me.
You and him at the trauma hospital.
Still at St. Vincent's. They're both trauma ones. So.
Thanks for the information. I was curious.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, no problem.
I got more out.
I think they did eventually get her to the hospital.
Officer LaFleur, have more first responders now arrived?
Off to your right, you can see. There it is. Off to your right, you can see more patrol units showing up. This deputy showed up, but this corporal had been there for a minute.
And approximately how long have you now been on scene?
According to my body cam, a little over 25 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, Corporal. I got 7 people there in the room when it happened, all their IDs. So.
Okay. Just get it all brought down. I'm not sure what the CID's put out there.
It's okay.
At that point in time, what was your understanding of how many people were in the room and witnessed it?
I believe I said 7.
Okay. Do you know whether or not that turned out to be true?
I think there was actually more. I wrote all the people who said that they were in the room in my report.
Okay.
Hey, sir. And I'm just hanging out with him because, he's the one who pulled the trigger.
Okay. Yeah, he tried it. Sorry, I was trying to set things up a while ago and do what you're going to do. Whatever you're going to do.
Yeah, 11C, that sounds cold.
What are you smoking? You got one on you?
You got a notepad? Ready? Do you have a notepad?
Officer LaFleur, at this point in time, I know he's no longer in the frame, but the gentleman in the blue denim shirt, do you know whether or not he was in the room at the time?
I don't recall if he was in the room or not.
Okay.
I know there was some director or whatnot there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have mine either. Yeah, so I start. Yeah, I know. It came off when I was given, trying to pack wounds. Yeah.
No, I actually don't remember if Dave Halls was there. Was he inside? Or was he outside of the church?
Okay.
I thought he was inside.
Officer LaFleur, does it look like Mr. Baldwin is speaking to a potential witness?
He just looks like he's talking to the guy who says his name is one of the directors, yes.
Okay.
Dave Halls.
Is that what you had in mind when you asked Mr. Baldwin not to speak to anyone?
No.
Do you know what they're talking about?
I couldn't hear what they were talking about. I did hear him ask him what cigarettes he was smoking and if he could have one. So.
Careful, he has a bunch of loose cards in there.
Oh, geez. All right.
Or do you want to just try some pages off?
No, because I'm going to be writing quite a bit. Everybody's in the room. I mean, I have my phone on me. Yeah. It's all right. I'll just, yeah, I'll write it down.
Do you see the gentleman in the denim shirt gesturing? You want me to back it up?
Yeah, which one? Are we talking about this gentleman?
Yeah.
I think that's him like shaking the rounds.
Do you know what he's gesturing?
No, it looks like he picks up his hand. Now that you
show that they shook
now
it.
that you play it back, it looks like he's shaking his hand.
And had you seen him do that previously?
No, not until just now.
I thought you testified earlier about a shake test.
The gentleman was talking about a shake test,
Okay.
but I had not seen the director do it until reviewing the footage now.
Okay.
My eyes aren't always exactly where the body cam's pointed, so.
Absolutely. When you tell people not to talk about the incident, do you have an expectation that they'll follow your instructions?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it look like they're following your instructions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Officer LaFleur, I'm going to stop the video there. What else did you do on scene that day?
I helped essentially just wait with other witnesses, I guess, or people that wanted to give a statement or they needed a statement from at a different location. It was their base camp is what they called it.
So you needed to take statements from people that were at another location? Is that what you said?
No, we took people from where essentially where we had them, and they took them down to their base camp, and that's where they started interviews.
And the people that you take to base camp, are those the same people that we see here in the video?
I believe so. Those people, and I don't know how many people they ended up interviewing.
At any point in time, did Mr. Baldwin tell you that he didn't pull the trigger of the gun?
I believe he told me he was holding the gun. I believe in the beginning when I was leaving the church, one of the guys said that Baldwin had pulled the trigger. So just off of what was told.
And I know that this sounds ridiculous, but we have to follow some jurisdictional rules. Do you see Mr. Baldwin in this frame here?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you point him out, please? And do you see that same gentleman in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you point him out, please?
He's sitting in the middle with the glasses.
Okay.
I thought I was going to say next to the bold attorney.
Anything else that you did of import that you can think of that you think the jury should hear about?
I think that's about it.
How long were you on scene, if you recall?
From when I got there was, I don't know, about 10 hours maybe or so. I was there until dark.
You were there for 10 hours?
Yeah, until they were done interviewing people.
Is that typical?
It is if that's what they need to be done. So.
Okay. Your Honor, just for the record, we would ask that the record reflect that Officer LaFleur has identified the defendant. Yes. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Okay, cross-examination. What do you think he's going to focus on? How the officer didn't do his job well? I don't know if it really matters.
Yeah.
For Baldwin.
May I proceed?
Sorry, Mr. Spicer.
It's a bald guy, the H.P. Lovecraft cosplayer? This guy?
Always fine when the court interrupts me.
No, we're doing a little mini sidebar here. We're in lunchtime because I'm hungry. I need to go eat my breakfast. Nicole's is definitely not his fault, but he had been familiar with happenings on the set. He'd likely have noticed things like director shaking bullets. Who? You talking about Baldwin? He looks like Lovecraft? I actually don't know what H.P. Lovecraft looks like. Strong chin, prominent nose.
You saw
Mr. Baldwin, he looked very shocked. If you could picture Mr. Baldwin in a pale state, you know, like unsure of himself, you could say an actor out of character. Is that a fair description?
Sure.
And he said to you, I'm here, whatever you want to do, right?
Yes.
He said to you at one point, where should I go? Right?
Yes.
And he also pointed out to you who the director was on scene who was hit in the shoulder, right?
I believe so. Yes, I inquired about him.
And he also asked you how she was doing, right? Meaning Miss Hutchins, right?
Yes.
I don't remember you being asked about that on direct, were you?
And you mean asked by that by the state?
Yeah.
Objection relevance?
So I want to take a step back. The dispatch that came over to your radio, sir, before you got to the scene was a dispatch for an accidental shooting by a prop gun, correct?
I believe that's what was told to me, yes.
Okay. And you've testified to that previously, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the dispatch report, you know that you received that wording, accidental discharge, several times, right?
I believe so.
Okay. So I want to ask you,
oh, no way.
I want to ask you, how come when you described it today in court, how come you didn't include the word accident when you testified before this jury?
I'm not one to say if it was an accident or not. Just there to initially respond to it, and then the detectives determine whether or not it was an accident.
Well, sure, but every other time you've been asked about this, you've said it was an accident. And now today at the trial of Alec Baldwin, when you're talking to this jury, you left that word out. Isn't that true?
Not intentionally, no.
Did you meet with the prosecutors before you testified here today?
I don't know if it's good for cross-examination for this attorney to be this aggressive with this very non-aggressive, super chill, almost kind of like laid back witness. I think he can tone it down a little bit because it just might seem like you're just being a little too aggressive for no reason.
Just briefly in the room outside.
I don't know.
For them to tell me who was in order or what witness.
You've discussed your testimony previously with Ms. Morrissey, correct? Before today?
Just in a pre-trial interview, yes.
Tony.
We've talked about your lapel that was on. It's true, right, that the lapel is actually mandatory.
Yes.
Right? And so they came to...
Because I think it is effective sometimes for attorneys to speak in this tone, especially in cross-examination, because it kind of gives an impression that the person that's testifying the stand is doing something wrong or did something wrong. So when you're talking this accusatory tone, it could work. But I think right now we're like at the very beginning. It just seems a little too overly aggressive.
The officers passed a law and told you had to wear your lapel, right?
Yes.
And the way it works is it secures all of these statements, and when you're done wearing it for the day, you go back to the station, you log it in, and then it exists, right?
Essentially, yeah, but it's more complex than that. It uploads on itself.
Oh, it self-uploads so that it maintains itself?
Yes.
Okay. And you then talked a little bit about the securing of the scene, and you talked about crime scene tape going up, right?
Yes.
But as you just told this jury, at the time, you don't know whether this is an accident or not, right?
Yes.
It's not like a crime scene tape is some evidence of a crime, right?
And whether it was an accident or a crime scene is still essential.
And you've been very candid that you made some mistakes at the scene, right?
Yes.
And that you've learned since then about some of these mistakes, right?
Yes.
You've said hindsight's 20/20, right?
Yes.
And you can Monday morning quarterback decisions, but you made them in the field, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you've said that based on your training and experience, you know that if witnesses are left to speak to each other, they can taint each other's memories, right?
Yes.
And sometimes that's incidental and accidental, right?
Yes.
And sometimes it's purposeful, right?
Depends on who's there, yes.
Well, if you were with somebody and somebody was talking to you about the 911 call, right? And they kept saying to you over and over, it wasn't an accident, it wasn't an accident. And then you testify and you leave out the word accident. That could be an example of taint, couldn't it?
Sure.
I think he's looking at the jury for feedback.
And also, non-witnesses contain people's memories too. You agree with me?
I guess.
Well, at one point in your testimony previously, you had said that there was a lawyer on the scene that was talking to some of the people that were on the scene.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. And if that lawyer told somebody on the scene, I think your understanding is that could have tainted their view or their memory, right?
Essentially, yes.
Mr. Baldwin never asked to speak to that lawyer, did he?
Not to my recollection.
And then you went on and you said, that you had told Mr. Baldwin not to speak to the other witnesses. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
And I think you were asked approximately 5 times why Mr. Baldwin was disobeying your orders. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. But in the lapel video that we just saw, you're not going up to Mr. Baldwin or these witnesses going, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm an officer. You got to separate. You don't do that, right?
Nope.
And also in that video, you can see a lot of these people are coming over to Mr.
He's law enforcement, or I guess it says former Santa Fe County deputy.
Baldwin, right?
Yes.
One of them comes over and shakes his hand, right?
Yes.
Have you ever seen that in all of your experience? Somebody commit a homicide, and everybody and all the witnesses are on the scene, circling around the person, shaking his hand and talking to him about what happened. Have you ever seen that in your entire career?
No.
And then you went on to say, well, you didn't put him in the cruiser. You didn't put him in the cruiser because your cruiser was being used. Was I guess the reason that you gave? Was that? Did I understand that right?
My patrol unit was being actively used as a post on the other side of the field for a crime scene.
When you say a post, you mean like it goes somewhere else and you put the tape around it? Is that?
The side mirror was wrapped around with crime scene tape.
Uh-huh. You mean there were also another dozen officers on the scene that day that had police cars if they wanted to put Mr. Baldwin in it at any point, right?
Yep.
Okay. And in fact, Mr. Baldwin later on drives himself to the precinct and goes and speaks to the police, right?
I'm not too sure how he got there, but he did get there.
Well, he wasn't under arrest, right?
Yeah, I wonder what Steven's listening to. I don't know.
Not to my knowledge, no.
And so you use this word detained. When Miss Morrissey asked you, were you detaining Mr. Baldwin? Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Isn't it true that even today, years later, no police officer has ever arrested Mr. Baldwin or detained him in a police car? True?
I don't know.
I don't think like a command post. I think more like kind of to kind of establish the perimeter of like who's going to come in, out, or, like don't pass this line or stay within here.
The police department, the Santa Fe Police Department, has never arrested Mr. Baldwin.
Not this.
When I think of command posts, I guess I think more of like a centralized area where commands are coming out. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
Back to the form of
Hi,
question,
Shibis.
asked and answered.
And one of the things that you do as an officer on the scene is you observe demeanor, right?
Yes.
And you spent 10 hours on the scene, I think I heard you say, right?
Yes.
You got to see the people of Rust that day live, right?
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is that you took it as a way how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say. Isn't that true?
I wouldn't say there was no intention. I don't know the individual's intentions, but his demeanor was sad, upset.
Okay, well, it's not just his demeanor being sad and upset, right? Okay, we'll move that to the side. And I understand you're not a mind reader, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All you can do is look at the people and look at how they're interacting and make your own judgments, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you do that as a police officer to try to figure out how to interact with a scene. True?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I feel like the witness kind of just made it look good for the defense. Like, oh, the witness, Baldwin was sad, I don't know why the defense attorney is still sounding so combative against the witness on the stand. Like, he said something that helps your witness, helps your client.
And isn't it true
Like there's a
that the
point that
way
he's
you
trying to
took
make.
it, how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say. Isn't that true?
Again, the wording you're using, I wouldn't say I had any clue of whose intention was what, but he was sad and upset.
Okay, well, let's play. I'm going to play his statement to that effect.
Like he should play into that. Like, oh, my client was sad and upset. You say, oh, okay. You know, like I don't know. He's like so combative.
Can you cue that up, please? That he did. I'm going to impeach him. Claiming that you didn't say that.
Are they not going to play the video?
Up, please, if that's okay with the court. He's saying he didn't say that he did. I'm going to impeach him.
I don't think he said he didn't.
Well, why are we impeaching him? Wait, what? Where are we going with this?
You want me to clarify that?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you claiming that you didn't say that?
Rephrase what you said?
Sure. Dispatch said it was an accidental shooting by a prop gun. So I didn't know if there was any. I took it as the way how everybody was acting, and that the individual who claimed to have been holding the firearm was still there, that there was the way he was, his demeanor was that there wasn't any intention behind the act, as you could say, you know.
Again, I wouldn't say I knew what his intention was.
I understand that. What I'm asking you now, okay, is did you in fact say those words that I just asked you?
At what time? The Gutierrez or PTI?
Yes.
I may have.
Okay. You don't deny saying that?
Your Honor, let's approach
No.
if we can.
I don't know. I feel like the point that he's trying to make, it doesn't seem like a big deal. I feel like a win for him would have been the jury hearing that, oh, Alec Baldwin looks sad.
Just going to ask you.
Steven might be listening to his favorite true crime podcast, maybe.
So one more time, I'm just going to ask you, did you say that statement that I read?
If you're reading the statement and it says my name next to it, then I more likely said it. I just don't recall when.
Coffee time. What kind of coffee you drinking?
That happened that day that I don't think we've talked about is...
Hey, Jody. The officer's so mellow. The attorney looks so over the top this early in the trial. Yeah, I'm like...
You spoke to a witness who told you that a woman named Sarah was crying and shaking and going through the bullets and saying, I don't know how it got in there.
Objection, hearsay.
I'm asking the witness if he had that information.
He's making...
Sorry, my dog is kicking the camera. If you see the camera moving, it's Shiro.
The statement, the hearsay statement is coming in.
Do you know whether anybody at the...
No, I would be a horrible attorney. Horrible. I'm bad at public speaking. I'm a very wordy person. I don't like to get to the point. Yeah, and then I don't like doing research on things if I'm not interested in it. It's hard for me to read legal prose because sometimes it's so dry and it's hard for me to retain it. I don't know. It'd be tough.
Was...
I don't like studying either. I don't like authority figures. Like if I have to work with a judge, oh my God, I'm not patient. If I have to work with the opposing attorneys and getting material, like I don't know, like it would just drive me crazy.
Before you got there, shaking and going through the bullets and saying, I don't know how it got in there?
I don't know.
I think I could be a good investigator though, because I'm a very curious person. I love digging into things. I like making sure I cover all my bases. I like being meticulous when I can. I think being a detective, maybe I could be a good job at that. But mentally, it would be very, very, very taxing though. Like I probably wouldn't have a life. It would take a mental toll on me. So probably not in that sense.
Okay. If we could refresh the witness with his lapel, and I would ask that can I put it up on just his screen? Okay.
Well, if we're refreshing...
We're going to take a lunch break real quick.
Lunch break, yes!
Okay? Please don't talk among yourselves.
All rise for the jury.
I like Alex's other attorney. I like the bald-headed guy.
Can you show me?
All right, you're excused. You can move over. And this thing is a battery and counsel approach.
Never explain why you watch these trials. I like watching smart people argue. The attorneys. I love reading the motions and all that. The arguments and all that. Oh, so good. I don't know. I find it so exciting. You gotta be empathetic, make the subject feel comfortable enough to open up, though. Wouldn't mind seeing more of a serious corgi. Serious corgi. I don't know. I'm always serious. What do you mean? So it's lunchtime and I didn't eat breakfast yet. I had a protein shake this morning, so I'm gonna go eat. So I think the best format, I don't know. These are long trial days. I can't watch the trials by myself. I need Corey and Jen to keep me company. I think the best format is going to be, I'm going to watch the trial, but I'll probably pick out the most important parts and then watch it with you guys or do like a catch up, because watching it live at normal speed is, it can be a little bit, or feel a little bit drawn out. So I'm going to go get some lunch. You guys get some food. And there is a video that I want to film, though, because I want to do an update on Alexi Treviso. I still haven't read the defense's motion to dismiss charges against Karen Reed. I haven't read that yet, but I have heard about it. I think Proctor is now finally put on leave without pay. And additionally, I think Kevin Albert, too. I think he's put on leave right now because of what they found out during the trial. Probably because he misplaced his badge and his gun.
Hey there, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch our coverage of the Alec Baldwin.
So it looks like, some people are going to be getting in trouble. We'll see. Corey is an attorney. Talk faster! For me, ADHD normal speed is so slow. I wish I could speed up people in real life. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work on. I get really impatient when I talk to people sometimes, especially when they don't get to the point. And if they give me way too much details, but I'm a hypocrite because I do that all the time. It's hard for me to get to the point, and I throw in too many relevant details that I think is relevant at the moment, but it probably confuses the listener when they're listening to me. All right, y'all, I'm going to go eat, and thank you so much for hanging out. We listened to opening statements. State, I think, did a really good job with her opening statement. Her name is, what is her name? I don't know her name, actually. Erlinda, I think. Erlinda Johnson. Listen to her opening statement. I think it was good, to the point. I think she did a good job. Defense opening statement, an actor's just an actor is an actor is an actor. He was just doing actor things. Can't expect Alec Baldwin to have more roles when it comes to safety. He was just an actor. That's what I got. Then Elaine. Elaine. I sometimes miss Elaine. Food and Elden Ring time. Should we do Elden Ring? Well, I'm gonna post the opening statements on the YouTubes, and then I want to film an Alexi Treviso video, kind of just like an update, what's happening with that. That there might be a delay in her trial. Oh boy. You're like my site manager, wants the details but doesn't have the patience to listen. It sounds like me. Yeah. Sounds like me. All right, y'all. I don't know. I do want to do Elden Ring. I think I'll do Elden Ring if I have time today. We've been doing a lot of pickleball, so I'm not going to work out today because I worked out yesterday. So today I'm going to rest up, but maybe we'll do some pickleball. Oh, yeah. All right, y'all. I hope you guys have a good one. Take care. I will see you guys. And yeah, we'll see how the format is for my live streams for the Rust movie shooting. I think it's better for me to play this in 1.5 speed rather than watching it live. All right, guys, have a good one. If you guys haven't already, feel free to join the Discord. Have your notifications on, okay? Click on that notification bell. Make sure you subscribe. and have all your notifications on. Or I don't know, there's like personalize. I don't know how you do personalize. But yeah, have your notifications on. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, don't fake your own kidnapping. Ugh. Sherry Papini. I think, I wanted to watch an interview that her husband or her ex-husband did. Sherry Papini's ex-husband did an interview recently. People in Canada signed a petition for a special meeting. However, it seems some got treats. I had to take a call and miss some of this. Is he trying to impeach? Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. It doesn't feel really proper. The witness on the stand said that Alec Baldwin looked sad. And I was like, oh, that's a win for the defense right there. But the defense is like really like, he's like, no, I don't care that you think that Alec Baldwin looks sad. Did you say this statement right here? And the guy's like, I don't remember. I mean, I'm sure I said it. I just don't remember when I said it. And so he's trying to pull a video from his lapel to impeach the witness. And I'm like, dude, you're like way too aggressive with this ultra chill witness right now. I don't know. It just seems a little too much and over the top in my opinion. But yeah. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Take care.